Konnichiwa.
Minasan konnichiwa.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the January 22 edition of Talk
When
to
the fuck it
Keki.
comes out, you're right.
By the time it comes out,
It'll be goddamn January.
I hope not. I got to talk to see if we can get. I want to try to be caught up before the year end of weeks.
Yeah, that would be clutch.
Yeah, so I may just ask him, say, hey, could you just try to crunch it up, like crunch time?
Yeah, that'll be a Christmas present. Actually, work on our shit like super early.
But I'll bring it up after, so we'll see. But
yeah.
I'm Matt, your host, and joining me, as always, my co-hi. We're almost done with fall. Ethan, what's up?
Konnichiwa. I forgot. I always want to say something else, and I'm like, fuck. I should say Gombawa. Gombawa, because it is evening time as we record. As you can tell, guys, I'm very lively today, and someone isn't as lively. Isn't that right, Matthew?
Yeah, we didn't record last week because I tested positive for COVID.
Got the clap, y'all.
I probably got it from AEW.
Goddamn fucking dirty Long Islanders.
Yeah. So I got it there, unfortunately. So I was under quarantine. Now my partner has it like 5 days.
She caught it?
Yeah, they caught it 5 days after.
Yeah.
So
damn, but you were in quarantine. How the fuck did they catch it?
I don't know. Just coming in contact with me during this. So
sucks.
It was bound to happen. So
did they confirm it was Omicron?
They didn't tell me.
It has to be.
Whatever's in the paperwork. All I know is that it was positive.
Because you're vaccinated on top of that, dude.
Fuck. We didn't get the booster, and now we can't get it till March.
Yeah. I'm boosted.
Yeah, I didn't get time to. I was going to do it after the holidays, but
nah, bro, you shouldn't have waited, dude. You should have fucking got it.
I had no time.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, I had no time, so I was going to wait till the Christmas shit was over. But well, here we are now. So that's why we got delayed. So I watched stuff while being quarantined.
Oh, you watched a fuck ton of stuff.
Yeah, I watched the live action Bebop finally. We'll get to that during Keki Shop. It's not the worst thing I've seen. I will say that. I will leave.
Now that it's canceled, like I have no desire to watch it. But if we're gonna do a Keki Shop, like you kind of have to. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But,
I just thought about it. Are we gonna do our SAO review?
You can.
You didn't watch it?
I got tested positive when it came
out.
Oh,
you caught it. It's not there
anymore,
it's gone.
Right? Yeah, it's gone.
And it's not there. Oh fuck.
No, that was that last weekend.
God damn, dude. All right, I'll talk about it really quick then. On my segment, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched that, and I watched Super Crooks.
I hear that's really good. It's on my to-watch list. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's on my to-watch list.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Basically, super villains in a heist. So if you liked the Great Pretender, but with villains kind of thing, it's pretty much like that. So I enjoyed it for what it was. I watched this one dub because this took place in the States. So
I don't want to watch a dub, but it's like fuck, man. Like
I enjoyed it though, so it worked. I watched the first episode of stuff. I was like, I watched it. I was like, okay, yeah, it works for this.
Yeah,
because it's Netflix. So, but we got that. We got some news before we just dive right into it. We got a lot of adaptations announced. So we're gonna go from last week to now. We got The Raven in the Inner Place, which is a light novel. Looks interesting. We don't know. I don't think we have a release date for it yet. And then the Shonen Jump Festival thing. What was that?
I don't keep up with any of that shit, dude. I just read the announcements when they come out.
Yeah. For the Makoto, who brought Your Name and Weathering with You, he revealed his latest movie.
Shinkai Makoto-san.
Yeah, whatever. I said Makoto.
You said Makoto, like
Yeah. Anyway, who cares? He's got his movie out. Suzume's locking up.
I can't wait to see it. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna come out in Japan fall 2022.
Which means we won't get it till 2023.
Nope, that's fine. But let's go next page.
While Matthew's doing that, unrelated, Funimation finally, after forever, this week announced their winter lineup. So we'll be going over that in a couple weeks during our awards season. But if you want to check it out ahead of time, go ahead and go to the Funimation.com/blog, and you'll be able to see their pending lineup for the winter season.
All right. We got a trailer for the Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc.
Yeah, I saw the screenshots and it looks fucking fuego.
It's gonna come out in fall of 22.
Do you know when? Like, do you know it picks up after what point? Because like I said, I stopped watching Bleach after Ichigo lost his powers and they started doing another filler arc with Gon. I was like, man, fuck Gon. I don't want to see this fucking stupid fucking puppet. So I didn't bother. I could stop at that point because I wanted to get to Black Clover.
I don't remember.
It's so long, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. Dragon Ball superheroes movie will come out in Japan in April 22.
Everyone keeps bagging on that, dude. And it's like, fuck. Why bag on it, bro? It's just because everybody's upset because Gohan isn't fucking OP crazy like his father and fucking Vegeta.
Gohan's dead.
So who is it that's claiming they're Gohan? Then
it's fucking Yamcha. he has the hair from then.
Yamcha's fucking. He's cross charactering, not like cross dressing, except he's a different character.
Yeah. Tokyo Avengers has a season 2 in production.
Yes.
It's gonna do the Christmas showdown against the Black Dragon Clan, so that's gonna be fun.
And didn't they say that? Didn't they said they're gonna release like an OVA or something like that?
I think we're gonna get an OVA.
Yeah,
I know for Dr. Stone we are.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, first season will come out in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a TV special involving one of the characters in summer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be fun. What you call it? We do have unfortunate news that voice actress, singer Sayaka Kanda died at the age of 35.
Mm-hmm.
I think she collapsed.
They said she fell from the fucking roof or something, dude, or like from the second floor. She fell from the second floor.
Collapsed in the outer garden on the 14th floor of the Sapporo Hotel.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. She does the Japanese dub of Anna from Frozen. She was in Good Luck Girl, Convenience Store Boyfriend, My Love Story, Shonen Maid, a bunch of various stuff. I know she was in Sword Art Online.
Mm-hmm.
She did the songs for some of them in season 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we send our condolences to her family and loved ones at this time.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest, dude.
All right.
Eye roll.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to.
All right. We also have one more bit of news. Rurouni Kenshin. They're getting a new TV anime adaptation. We don't know if it's a reboot or a continuation of the story where it left off.
Is there more to tell?
Yeah, apparently there's more to tell. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we don't know where they're going to be. It's going to be It's going to be produced by Linden Films, people that have done Tokyo Revengers. So that's always good.
Mm.
And for the people who recently watched The Vampire Dies in No Time, they got a second season announced.
Mm.
I don't know who watched it, so I really cannot tell you. Congrats to you guys on that. And I believe that covers news from what I've seen on my end, unless you have any that you have outside of those.
Nope, I'm good.
Nope, you're good. All righty. Again, some shows have ended, so yeah, these should be relatively a little quicker. Since we missed last week, we'll probably talk briefly on like the second last episode if it does tie into what happened with the current episode.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even fucking remember half the things.
Yeah, we're not doing all of them, just some of them. Only if they're important.
God damn, that, man. All right.
Yeah. Visual Prison, well, I'll start with that. Gil opened up to Angie about his body deteriorating. That led to the point where he did collapse and he's in a comatose state. He's not fully dead yet.
He's a veggie.
Yeah, pretty much. So Angie is depressed, so he starts singing to himself. Saga kind of motivated him to like keep singing, like try to help maybe get Gil back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 2 weeks ago. Now we're going forward. Basically, Angie talks to Eve and Robin. They want to keep doing Oz, and so they do the little song and dance. they do a special song, and Gil does wake up, but it's like temporary. So basically, for him to come back fully, they need the Scarlet Tears that Eclipse has. So they got to do that while winning the Visual Prison this year if they're going to bring Gil back. But he is only back for this last song. But again, the songs have been nice. I've been liking where it's going. It's been a fun little series, but Friday it will end with the final battle at the Visual Prison on Halloween. Good stuff from them. Lupin the Third Part 6. It was another side episode with Fujiko going towards looking for the Venus. I forgot what the name of the I forgot what the name of the treasure was, but it's something that she wanted to do. She was doing by herself. To Lupin's like, I'll help you. But Jigen was like, nope, it's not worth my time. It's like, is there more risk than the actual awards? Like, yeah, like, all right, then yeah, it's not worth my time. Like, well, it's just us doing this. So no Zenigata either, no police, basically no police at all. It's just basically Fujiko sneaking into this museum for the thing. And Lupin eventually catches up to her. They look around. They find a secret door because they said the fake treasure was in the hall, but they're in the secret door, and it shows it wasn't like Venus. It was basically Lucifer, like a thing of Lucifer. So that kind of freaked out Fujiko, and it suddenly cut back to like next day. Like Fujiko was back at the museum where it was. Oh yeah, we're closing. Get out. And then she went to the guy that hired her for the job, and he said, no, I'm good. I ain't doing this. And then she stepped out, and you see wings flying in the air, and that was where the episode ended. It was very weird. It was a very weird episode. So it was definitely the weakest for my week, actually. It was just more nothing interesting happened. Like the heist wasn't really that interesting. There was like no frill, no chase. But we're going back to the Sherlock stuff next week, so that's all I care about. Swap with that. So again, it's just Lupin shit. Let's see. Next is Ranking of Kings. We'll go with that. Death Power takes Boji and Kage out to the bar. It's like, oh, we're gonna celebrate Boji's training. And they got to like, okay, we're gonna show you what you can do. And you see Boji's weapon. It looks like a big sword with the sheath, like there's a sheath as the size of a big sword. But when Boji pulled it out, it was a rapier. So then Kage's like, "What the fuck is this? What happened to that and that?" And it's like, "Trust me, this is good. He'll be fine." And then they get to the bar, they're eating and all that, and Death Par starts. He bumps into one of the ogres, and they start a fight. And then I see Death Par is weak as shit as a fighter. Like he's not really fisticuffs. Like he sucks. So Boji starts to fight. He doesn't use his sword, and then he hits one of the ogres in the neck. First, like he doesn't flinch, but after that he gets dazed. Then Kage's like, "What the fuck did you like? What the fuck did Boji do?" And was like, "I thought you were supposed to make him stronger. He's not hurting him." Like, "Oh, you sure?" And it's like, "Well, because he's hitting their pressure points. That's why they get dazed and all that." Like, yeah, he's not killing them, but he's in the pressure points to daze them and to technically hurt them. That's what Boji has been doing with all this. He eventually fights them off. The ogres leave. Kage's like, "I'm sorry I doubted you. I'll never doubt your teachers again." It's like, and then Death Par's like, "Damn right you're not." And then that shows like, damn, because in the Magic Mirror said Boji's the strongest, and now he's just proven that he's more skilled in strength. That's where his stuff's lying. And then after that, Death Par leads Kage and Boji real quick. Like, okay, I gotta go somewhere. And then you see him talking to the ogres that were fighting Boji. So it looked like he paid them off to like, hey, like take the fall for me type of thing. Well, you find out like, yeah, that happened, but his actual skills were legit. So, and then they just wanted to see that in action. So, despite his methods, they did work. It's just a little questionable at first, but it starts to make sense. And now, Boji and Kage decide to go back to the castle to go save his mother, and then find out, hey, my dad's alive, but in my little brother's body. So we got that. That was nice. I thought that was a great episode. A lot of fun. Oh yeah, shit. I got one left now. That's right, because stuff ended. Blue Period. We're gonna go with that. These last two were focused on Ryuji instead of Yagachi. They bumped into Yagachi, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not in our club anymore, so fuck you guys, bye. That type of thing. And then Yagachi's trying to reach out to them, and then they were like, "Nah, I'm fine," like fuck you type of thing, like blowing them off. And then you actually try calling them again, like double checking, like, are you actually okay, type of thing. And then Ryuji just basically told Yogachi, like, if I actually was in trouble, you would not help me at all. He's like, oh yeah, like you would offer advice, but you wouldn't do anything. Like if I was going to drown, you wouldn't just jump in to save me. You would only throw a lifeguard type thing. Like you would throw me a raft. You wouldn't go in yourself. If I needed clothes, you would find some trades that just give you the clothes off your back. like you only focus on you. You say you want to help, but at the end of the day, you focus on yourself.
You said you want to help, but that was a lie.
Yeah. So, and then Ryuji's like to him, like, don't call me again. And this is when Ryuji was actually in a nightclub dressed up as a girl to hit on guys.
Hey.
Yeah. Nice dress, though. Then they eventually went home, and you find out that their stuff is thrown out by the parents. Like they don't like him. They don't like his lifestyle and all that. And that led to the point where the mother slapped him across the face. It's like, why can't you just be a normal person? Why can't you just do this? And like they were trying not to cry and all that. And then you see the grandmother like saving their art supplies, because the grandmother is an artist.
You said this is the gay person, right?
The crossdresser, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, the grandmother is why they do art. And then, but they didn't have the heart to tell that they stopped doing art. So they see the grandmother holding their art supplies. Oh yeah, I saved these when their parents were throwing your stuff out, and it led to them crying and hugging the grandmother, like thanking her. And then they eventually run away from the house. They call Yaguchi to meet up, type of thing. And that episode ended with Ryuji asking Yaguchi, like, would you drown with me? I told you to. But it led into Yaguchi actually talking him out of that type of thing. Like come with me, like we'll just walk around town, get your mind off it, because they can't go home. And then this episode leads into they find a hotel to stay in by the beach. And Yaguchi asks about, like, are you actually going to kill yourself? And like, no, I can't do that yet. I actually can't do that yet. And like, it's somewhat like, because like my friend told me that if you really want to kill yourself, you would strip naked. Were you embarrassed? No, then you would kill yourself. But if you were embarrassed, then yeah, you wouldn't kill yourself. Like if you just strip naked, then just jumps in the water. Like if you're embarrassed about being naked, then you wouldn't kill yourself. So then that type of ordeal. They were talking throughout the night, and you see Yaguchi's hives getting worse as he's getting that sick from the stress. And it led into naked portraits. Like they had a thing between them. They just had a mirror in front of them. They stripped and they drew each other. Like they drew themselves. Because like they feel like you get more perspective of yourself rather than just drawing in the water. Like you're looking at yourself like bare.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
that they did that. Eventually, Ryuji went home for now, and then Yaguchi went to his art class. Told everything to the teacher. Everything was going well, and he talked to Yaguchi, Maki, and Haruka that your exam's tomorrow. You have 3 days to do it. But once you're done, you come back to the class. So they roll to the next day, and Yaguchi sees that the elevator is out of order, so they have to carry all the heavy stuff upstairs. And it gets to the point where Yaguchi actually collapsed, like his body is that worn out, and he's just crying to us, like, is this it for me?
What have I done? What have I done?
No, it's like that he can't move. Like, is it like he thinks he reached his limit, like he can't go on. And that was where the episode ended. And we got 2 left. I was like, oh.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say, like, you're not done. Like,
I got 2 left, so we'll see what happens. I
know 1 hour later.
It's done in Japan after last week, so that is it for me. I think this is definitely one of my favorites for the week. All right, your turn.
Oh, they said you were done.
I am.
I thought you said you weren't done. Rather, sorry.
No, I'm done.
Oh, what were you saying wasn't done? Oh, Blue Period.
Yeah, I got 2 episodes.
Oh, you're talking about the show wasn't. I thought you said you weren't. Like, I thought you said you had 2 more shows to talk about.
No. It's done. It's done in Japan.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, because it's right. It's on that fucking stupid shit like Homie, where it's 2 episodes behind. That's right.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb, dude. I hate it.
Yeah, so it's done there.
All right. I only got 4, thank God. All right, so let me go on. We'll talk about Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus's last couple episodes have been good to spotty. Basically at this point, they managed to convince Karen to save the world, help them save the world, but they don't necessarily do it. Fubuki is the one who does it. So as Karen is about to attack Yuito and about to get him, Fubuki comes in, stops it with one of his psionic abilities, and then they have a heart-to-heart basically about how Alice wouldn't want him to suffer in that way, and that, you know, like he had no idea, and like, you know, at the end of the day, like the past can't be saved no matter how many times you try or how bad you want to change it. You can't change it, so you just have to live in the now, and the now is this circumstance, and you know, we want you to help us, da 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 da. And you know, Karen's like, you know what, I guess that could work too, and they hug, and basically they commit to trying to save the world. So their plan basically is Fubuki and Karen are going to hook their brains up to Arahabaki. And what they're going to do is boost their own powers and then give those powers to Yuito and Kasane. Yuito and Kasane are going to basically make the Kunad gate like humongously big, so that way it can suck up the extinction belt, because in the previous episode the extinction belt dropped to an extremely low level, and there was an influx of others like never been seen that caused the issues in the previous episodes. And so they're going to basically use the Kunad gate to get rid of the extinction belt, and then they're going to basically go back into the into whatever junction it is, I forget what it's called, something junction, to get rid of the final entanglements that Karen had caused, and hopefully they'll get rid of the Kunad gate. And so they do that, and Yuito passes out midway through, but he's only out for a moment, and he comes back too, and they basically boost the power, and using that power they suck up the extinction belt. So now the extinction belt is gone. In theory, there really should be no more others that are around. They see a beautiful blue sky and everything is gorgeous. So the next part is getting rid of the Kunad gate. And from there, Karen attacks Yuito and Kasane and knocks them down. And Fubuki's like, dude, the fuck are you doing? Like, bro, like, no, this isn't what we discussed. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I changed my mind. I can't go back and accept this. And so he goes back in time again. But he's like, this will be my final time. And he disappears. And so like some shit happens where like you see a bunch of red strings everywhere, because he has the power of the red strings from Yuito Kasane. So you see the power of the red strings everywhere. And then when they look up, the Kunad gate is gone. So Karen did that. He managed to save the world and get rid of the Kunad gate. However, it does come at great cost. The two like tech people that they have, one for Yuito's team, one for Kasane's team, they start checking the records to see about Karen, because Karen doesn't return, and they come to find out there's nothing of existence of Karen. It's like Karen doesn't exist whatsoever. And they ask people around them, you know, like, hey, what about Karen? What about Karen? They're like, huh? Karen who? And so basically the only people that know about Karen are the people that were there at the time of his departure, that have been entangled in this whole thing. And at the end, basically there's like, oh, what the hell's going to happen as we go into the final episode that'll come out this Thursday as we record. And an after credit scene though, they're like, wow, we can't find Karen. But you know who they do find? Alice. Alice is now alive and returned, and she's well. And everyone is shocked, like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? And so Fubuki asks Alice, like, hey, do you know what's going on with Karen? And Alice is like, who's Karen? And that's how the episode ends, which is pretty wild. So basically, Karen sacrificed himself to save the world and bring back the love of his life, which, you know, honestly, I feel that's pretty fitting considering he was a scumbag for most of the time anyway. So fuck him. And that's that.
Good shit.
Banished Hero. Banished Hero again is getting really good. Rudy, basically in the last 2 episodes, basically Rudy gets approached by the demon, and fucking manages to find out basically that that there's an apothecary there, and there's like someone there that's in jail that makes the devil's blessing. She starts taking the devil's blessing, and she kind of has this like epiphany that she no longer wants to be the hero. So she takes the devil's blessing, hoping that it'll suppress the hero's blessing, and she leaves her hero's medallion, which signifies that she is indeed the hero. And she goes off to the village where Red is currently at, her brother. her and Tisei, they take the ship and they go over there. They basically leave one of the I forget her name. I think it's like Victoria or something. But they leave one of the people. They leave Albert, the disgraced champion, and then they also leave Aris, the fucking the cunty magician, basically. And so the episode really focuses on how bad Aris is as they go. So basically Rudy and Tisei, they come into the village and they're like, oh, we have to be like, quiet. We can't really let people know who we are. So we're just normal adventurers. But fucking Rudy just constantly does stuff that foregoes that. So she easily defeats somebody. She easily moves a giant boulder, shit like that people normally shouldn't be able to fucking, but she does. And at the end of the day, at the end of that episode, she fucking goes into the apothecary. She breaks out the drug maker and has him captive somewhere. And she goes to the apothecary to go get some healing medicine for him, because she doesn't want to use her blessing with like cure hands or something like that, which basically gives her like medical. She can heal anybody. And so he goes into the apothecary. She goes into the apothecary and sees her brother, and she's like, Oni-sama, like Ruti, and they have this beautiful reunion. The next episode is they get caught up on everything that's going on, for the most part, not quite. We find out, Tisei and Red, they introduce each other, and Rudy basically wants Red to come back, wants Gideon to come back, and he's like, no, I'm good. I'm living with Rit. I love Rit. I want to be with Rit. All this stuff, and so basically the episode focuses a little bit on how she feels like kind of hurt, like she's so like depressed. Like, I mean, let me back up actually, because that's actually part of like the last episode, or previous episode rather, where she actually, you know what, I think I'm 3 episodes behind because I didn't talk about this in the last one. I might be 3 episodes behind. Anyway, there's a point in the there's a point. I don't remember either. There's a point in the episode where basically she talks about how she just wants to be a normal girl, and she just feels the pressures of being a hero, and she's always had Gideon around, and she's been lost without Gideon, but if she has Gideon around, then she can manage to go on because she loves and appreciates her brother. So that was really nice. But anyway, basically they get caught up on everything, and we as they're going through, basically Rudy's not around, and Tisei manages to tell Red, or Gideon rather, about her condition, so that basically she's trying to become a drug addict so she can forego her blessing, and they're like, all right, well, we have to go over and try and find the drug maker, and we got to confront Rudy about it. So as they're going, basically Tisei is like, oh, we need all this stuff for the drug. Gideon's like, fuck, all right. So he goes over to some market town, and he meets one of the other guys from the party, Danan, who we see earlier in the season. This Danan has a missing arm, or I'm sorry, missing hand. And Gideon's like, what the fuck happened? And he basically said that the demon lord that Rudy had killed in one of the previous episodes earlier in the season wasn't actually dead. And basically, as he was traveling to try and find him, to try and get him back to go to the party, that demon attacked him and took off his arm. And because he had his arm and his DNA, he was able to turn into him. So basically, the Danan that is on the loose is the demon lord, which is pretty wild. And so basically they go on their way because they have to go to like some ruins to try and find Rudy and the what's it called, the drug maker. And so along the way, they regroup with everybody and they all go together. They manage to find Rudy, they confront her, everything's all good, whatever, right? And so in the meantime, Aris, Victoria, and Albert, they end up basically meeting Rudy and Gideon and written them in the thing. And so in the dungeon rather, they're like in this like dungeon. So they meet him in the dungeon, and Aris basically tries to tell Rudy, like, Rudy, come on, we don't need him, whatever. And Rudy's like, no, like, I'm done adventuring with you, like, I'm gonna be here with my brother. And so Aris uses some magic and attacks Gideon, and Gideon's good. He's just fucking stunned and a little hurt. And so Rudy gets pissed off, slices this dude's chest open, and was like, if you had hurt him, I would have killed you. He's like, but I missed all your vital organs, so you should be good. Heal yourself and never see us again, fucking scum. And so at the same time that he does this, like, Aris is lost, like, oh my god, like, what did I do? Like, I should be with the hero, fuck Gideon, And the guy who was Danan happens to go into there and turns himself into one of the other adventurers who I'm not too sure on what his role plays, but he's kind of like a religious figure that's after the demons. His name is Bowie, and so he turns into Bowie and offers to form a party with Eris so they can get revenge, and that's how the episode ends, going into tomorrow. So there's that. Boruto, we'll go with Boruto next. 228 kind of sucked, I can't lie. Basically it just shows Kawaki unable to basically get along with people per usual. So basically he Naruto wants to make him a genin, and so what he does is he has him like fill in with a couple of the teams. So the first team he teams up with is Denki's team, which is basically some simple something with animals, and he fucks that up. He ends up getting fucking what's his face, Metal Lee, hurt because I think he gets like gored by like a bull or something stupid, but he ends up getting hurt. And fucking what's it called, Kawaki's like, I don't care, like you shouldn't have gotten hurt, da da da. And basically they're like, oh, that's not how you treat friends. He's like, I'm not trying to make friends, and he like walks away. So he fucks that up and pisses them off. And then the next mission, he basically is sent to deal with Wasabi's team, and their mission is to basically catch a runaway from home, like this runaway boy from home. And he basically scares the fucking boy and he collapses. So then his parents complain, which I think is fucking stupid. Like your fucking bastard child is fucking running away and we saved him. So what if he got scared? That's his fault because he shouldn't have fucking run away. I found that fucking dumb. But anyway, he got a complaint and the team got a complaint. That looks bad on them. So, again, he's fucking aggravating them. And then that episode ends with Kawaki being told to go on a final mission. It's an escort mission to go with Shikadai and Chocho, because Inojin is doing a mission with his mother and the sensory team, so providing backup for them. So basically they're a man short, so they basically put Kawaki in there. Naruto's like, listen, if you pass this mission and you don't fuck up, I'll make you a genin, right? Because we already know like your ninjutsu and shit is like super good. And throughout this you see him practicing his ninjutsu, because at the time he's like, oh, like I don't need friends. The fuck, like I'm already fucking super good. I just need to hone my craft. And you just see him fucking being good. He's like super good. But again, he doesn't care to make friends until he sees Sarada, and Sarada is training late at night, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, go training, da da da. And he, they end up talking about what's happening, and they're like, there's some things you can't do on your own that require friends, as much as you don't want to be friends with anybody, that's what's required in order to be a shinobi and stuff. And he's like, whatever, I don't need it, I'm gonna go train later. And fucking blows her off too. You don't give a fuck. But anyway, he does take into consideration what Sarada says. And so the next mission, because they tried to meet up earlier in the episode, Shikadai and Inojin were hanging out and was like, hey, you want to play cards? And he's like, no. He's like, dude, that's what you do, you hang out with friends. He's like, I don't want friends. And he fucking pissed him off. But then at the end, like earlier in that episode, but later past that scenario, he was like, oh, they asked him about like the thing. He's like, I don't want to show up, that I don't want to be a shinobi, da da da. So he pissed them off. So basically at the end of the day, they were prepared to leave early in the morning. They were prepared to leave without Kawaki, but Kawaki was out training the whole night on his own. And so he shows up all disheveled and dirty and shit, but he shows up regardless, and he's like, oh, I'll be there. And he starts getting into it back and forth with the client, which is like this fucking like bratty little fucking kid. So it's kind of annoying. But the next episode, 229, was really, really, really good. So that episode, we see them on their mission, but before we see them on their mission, their escort mission, we see these two assassin brothers basically kill like this fucking boy, similar to like the boy that's being escorted. And so they're like, oh, we have one more piece to collect, and nobody knows what that piece is, so they're off to find him. Meanwhile, you see the gang happening, like the boy and Kawaki are still arguing, and then they stop for lunch basically. So first, actually, before they stop for lunch, they're trying to like traverse like this large mountain, and the kid almost falls. Kawaki saves him and tells him like, dude, you can't space out, you're gonna die. And the kid's like, my bad, whatever. And they start questioning like, what is it that you're carrying? He's like, it's an expensive vase. And they're like, okay. But then like the whole time he's talking about this expensive vase, he's talking about money, and he's wearing poor clothes and stuff like that. He's like, I wish I would have asked for a discount because you guys aren't fucking, this guy's not a shinobi, da 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 da. Like, he's just complaining about money the whole time. But he's like, oh, so you're complaining about money, but you have an expensive vase? What the hell? And so what's it called? as they keep going through their mission, though, we basically see that that him and Kawaki end up getting close. They kind of find like a mutual understanding because of food. Basically, Chocho, they stop for lunch and Chocho starts eating, and Kawaki, Kawaki's chilling, and Chocho's like, "Oh, you're not gonna eat?" And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna eat. Like, I didn't bring lunch. The fuck? What do I look like?" And so she shares her onigiri that her mom made, and Kawaki loves it. It's really good. So he has one, and then he goes over to find the kid. The kid's getting water, and he's hungry, and he tries to give him the other onigiri, and he's like, I don't want it, nah, but he's starving. So they end up eating. They end up finding common ground. They find out more, and you can tell the boy is hiding something, which but we don't know what. And we see basically that the two assassin brothers have caught up to them. And earlier in the episode, I forgot to mention that the assassin brothers run past Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki as they're doing like a D rank mission to escort some cows somewhere, some livestock. They run past them, and Boruto and Mitsuki, they sense like something's off with those guys. And Boruto's like, I sense like, I sense like eerie fucking death and blood around them. That's not good. He's like, but they can't do anything because they're in they're doing this little D rank mission, whatever it is, what it is. And so what's it called? The assassin brothers come up at night. They end up they end up attacking them, and we see that one of the brothers steals the case, and the other brother has like this ninjutsu that uses blood, like a blood barrier, and if you touch the blood gets on you, then he can control you. And so the boy does this to try and run away, and he end up controlled, and the assassin brother basically had him pick up a sharp stick and try and slit his throat with the sharp stick, and Shikadai knocks him unconscious. And so then they try to come up with a plan. Kawaki tries to blow it away with his the gun on his arm or whatever, but the blood regenerates and the barrier regenerates. And so what happens is Chocho uses her like human boulder jitsu, and she rolls and destroys all of the blood barrier, because if you destroy one part, it regenerates easy. If you destroy the whole thing, it takes a while, and in that while is when you can attack. But then the assassin brother's like, oh, now she's controlled by me, and she goes to attack, Shikadai uses his jitsu, the shadow control jitsu, and basically it nullifies it, and Chocho attacks them. They end up 3-way attacking the guy, beat the guy, and then fucking tie him up. As they tie him up, they ask the boy, like, yo, what the fuck are you hiding? And so the boy basically admits that, as you see, he's actually Shinobi himself. He can do medical ninjutsu, because in this episode, basically in that fight, Chocho gets stabbed by a kunai, and she's hurt pretty bad. So he does medical ninjutsu just to stop the bleeding, but she's still pretty hurt. And so they're like, dude, what are you hiding? So he basically says that, yeah, I'm a medical ninjutsu guy, and my sensei came up with this cure for my village. My village is ravaged by some disease, and we came up with this cure. They're like, oh, so then why don't you give it to the people that are being killed by the disease? They're like, we can't, because the feudal lord basically is holding that cure for money. And basically it's an expensive cure, and like the cure that he has is expensive. No one can afford it. And so he's trying to make the most money for himself and for the nation at the expense of his dying fucking people. And so basically his sensei came up with a cheap alternative that's more effective. But when the feudal lord found that out, he basically was going to kill him. And so he took his 7 students. He was training 7 people. He gave them all the cure. And he said, he's like, leave the village, try and make this better, and come back when I let you know. And so they were all planning to come back. But they were all together at the time. But then the assassin brothers came after them because of the feudal lord finding out about his plan. So they all scattered. But as we've seen, 6 of the 7 pupils are dead, and he's the last pupil. And so basically he needs to get that cure back to the village, so that way they can save the people. So Kawaki's like, all right, I'll go with you. And Shikadai's like, dude, no, we got to worry about Chocho. Like, the fuck? He's like, no, we don't. I'm just gonna go after them. And so Shikadai's like, dude, you're supposed to care for your friends when they're injured. And he's like, I'm not a shinobi, so I don't have to do shit. I'm gonna go after him. And so fucking Shikadai tries to stop him, and he's like, you know what? He said, like, no, I'm not a shinobi. I can do what the fuck I want. I'm gonna do the right thing. And he's like, listen, if you care, take her back to the village and explain what's going on to Naruto, and I'm gonna go save the day with this kid. And so that's what happens. Not bad. That episode wasn't bad at all. Looking forward to that. And then finally, my last one is 86. Again, the episodes just, they get more and more emotional, which is good. Not emotional in terms of like crying emotion, but like more in terms of like character depth, which is fantastic. The episode basically, the previous episode, if I'm not mistaken, that one is I don't remember if I talked about the battle or not.
The last episode
Of 86. Yeah, I don't remember.
I think you did.
I talked about the battle. Okay, so
yeah.
So this episode basically focuses on the aftermath of the battle. As they have what's her face there, Frederica there. The episode basically begins with finding out the Confederacy's plan, like the United Empire's plan and stuff, to try and distract them. Basically, they want to distract the Legion on both sides, so that way they can use that distraction for the 86 to go in there and try and destroy the Morpho. As they do that, that we also find out that that the Confederacy has tried to reach out to the Republic and they haven't answered any requests, and so basically they're under the impression that the Republic is all fucking wiped to shit and they're all destroyed. We don't know what happened. We just see that we do see in previous episodes in the after credit of the Republic just being fucking fucked to shit, like all fucked up, and we don't know what happened with Lena and them. So basically this episode starts off with that information, then continues with Raiden and Shin having a disagreement. Like they have like basically a mini fight back and forth. And so what happens is basically at the end of the day, they don't want Shin to go off on his own. They don't want him to go die on his own. Shin wants to die on his own because of the fact that he wants to protect them all. But Raiden's basically saying like, no, like just because you're selfish and you want to die doesn't necessarily protect us. Without us, like, without us, he's not saying without us, you're nothing, but without us, like, you won't be able to do the same things. And then without you, we're all going to die. Basically, they need each other.
Right.
And so he's trying to relay that to Shin, and Shin he gets it, but at the same time, he doesn't quite get it. And so we basically see them, they're like, all right, they forge on. And so as they forge on, they see beautiful scenery, very, very beautiful scenery. And they stop on a plain, like a beautiful plain at sunset. And they all talk about like, oh, is this what the beach looks like? And they're like, no, I've never been to the beach. I'd like to go to the beach. I'd like to go to the beach. I'd like to see the beach. I'd like to be in the sand. All the 86 are talking about that, except for Shin. There's a look on Shin's face that focuses on his mouth, like he wants to say something or he doesn't know what to say or he's shocked, but then he shuts up and he doesn't say anything. And Frederica looks over and they smile, and that's that. So as they sleep, Frederica wakes up and they have like a heart to heart, and it's a serious heart to heart because basically Frederica says like, I've accompanied you on this journey because I haven't been able to do anything. My only goal was to set my knight Kiri. I want to set him free, but I'm scared of him officially dying. I'm scared of him not being alive. I'm scared of what's going to happen after the fact. And she basically says like her existence would cause another war. If the knowledge of her existence would cause another war, and she doesn't deserve to be alive, like it's very raw stuff. And she confides in Shin, and Shin basically kind of understands and kind of says the same thing. Like, listen, at the beginning of the season, this is something the Angel will kind of understand because he's been bitching about the fact that they're still alive. Shin realizes that, and he says like, dude, he's like, honestly, I should have died at the beginning, and I'm really mad that I didn't die. He basically says in these exact words, he's like, the future is too long for me to live. I can't understand, how to live it. And he basically said like he didn't say anything during that conversation that all the 86 were having because of the fact that he doesn't understand what it's like to want something. He's like, I don't know what it's like to want something. I don't know what it's like to desire anything. Like I don't desire anything. I just want to like fulfill my mission and die. And I understand that, in reality, like that's not normal. I understand that, but I can't gauge any other idea of living. And it's wild for him to say that. And Frederica's like, well, one thing that you could want is is the ability to make your own choices. She's like, for the first time after you left the 86 districts, when you first arrived in the Confederacy, you got the choice to make your own decisions. You could live the life way you wanted to go where you wanted to go, not fight. And that was fun, wasn't it? He goes, yeah, that was fun. And she's like, well, there's something for you to want to do, basically. And then he also confides, which is pretty interesting, that during the argument at the beginning of the episode, the rest of the 86 are basically overhearing the argument, and they kind of have like a conversation to herself that basically they understand that, Shin is their leader, and without Shin, they're kind of directionless, but they're, dedicated to go on. And so at the end of the episode, when Shin is having this conversation with Federica, Shin is basically saying, like, without the rest of the 86, without my friends, like I'm no one. Like I have no reason to exist, none whatsoever. Like I have nothing. I had nothing before my brother, or he's like, I had something before my brother, then my brother got taken away, and then I had something afterwards, and that was to kill him. And then once I killed my brother, I had nothing. And then I had my friends, and once I don't have my friends, I have nothing. And if I have nothing, why do I exist? Like, what purpose do I have to exist? Like, and it's such a wild, like, ideology for him to have this realization. Like, it's just the fragile nature of and don't forget, these are all like teenagers. At the end of the day, like the 86 are still teenagers. And it's just so wild to have like a child soldier, because in essence, they're still children. Child soldier have this like reality of only living to fight, and only living to maybe die. It's insane when you really think about it. And the episode ends with the Morpho coming back online, being told by the leader of the Legion, like, hey, we've detected that there's a small fleet in our territory. Your job is to check your surroundings and see if you can catch up with it. And basically, Kiri's like, yeah, I confirm that. And he has this like sinister look on his face, like, I can't wait to kill him, as they chase after him. So they have a time clock, which is pretty cool at the bottom throughout the episode, of how long it's been since the initial mission that happened 2 episodes ago. All this that has taken place that I've described over these last couple episodes has taken place over the course of 35 hours in the mission. By the time this ends, it's been over 35 hours since the initial mission began, which is pretty wild. So either way, though, in terms of just like that, like ideology and things of that nature, it's fucking brilliant. So we have another couple episodes. I don't believe there's a hiatus this week, which is good. So that'll be good as we continue on. They want to try and finish up in the next 3 weeks. We still have another, I think, 4 episodes to go, or 3 maybe.
I think 3 to 4.
Yeah, we got another like 3 to 4. 9 of 12. So we got another 10, 11, 12. We got another 3 episodes, which will be good.
All right.
So
very good.
Word.
But anyway, we are now going to wrap up with stuff we're watching together. We're now on the penultimate of most of these, while some of these have ended, which we will close with later. What did we say we were starting with? Was it platinum?
Platinum, because it's fucking
yeah.
All
right. Basically, you didn't miss much from the last week. It was basically Mukaido and Mirai got caught in a trap with Mukaido's.
It's a trap.
Parent. It's a snack. While all that is going on, Saki says that the mansion useless, while Revel was trying to do his tests, and it led to the point where he got promoted to Angel of Emotions.
Yeah,
he was the only one that shed tears for humans.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, so that was nice moment for him. So because of this, Saki got wings, and now she springs into action. She shoots a red arrow at Hajime, who looks at her and is like, "Oh shit, it's a cat girl. She's hot. I think I'm in love."
I mean, I would be too.
She gives him that face and all that. Now we're going to the actual episode, because while it's going on, Mukaido and Mirai are still flying in this dome where they cannot get out. So the plan is to keep flying until something eventually happens.
I'm very surprised that nobody threw up, because if they're just constantly spinning for hours and hours and hours and hours, like, bro, that's not the way.
I mean, for a guy with cancer and smokes a lot, he's got stamina.
Oh yeah, he can go all night.
Yeah. So while all that's going on, Hajime keeps checking out Saki. Shut up. He keeps checking out Saki's like, I bet the cat ears, the curves, the breasts, the tail. I see it bending over. Ah, shit, this is love. Checking out this cat girl. And so Kanade or Metropolitan Man's like, hey, what the fuck you doing? It's like, what'd you call it? I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, really? It's like, yeah, I can't wait. They're not going anywhere. I promise you I'll come back. And then he talks to Saki in secret and leads Saki tell him, like, hey, release them, please. My friends, I care about them. And then Hajime is like, yes, my queen. Like, simping so for you. Yes, because he finally experienced love, even though it was the red arrow. It real. but to him it is because he's that ugly. But anyway, Hajime talks to Metropolitan Man. He's like, all right, yeah, I serve you, but I love her, and that trumps you, so fuck you. Stabs a hole with his sword.
I mean, it's funny when he kept hitting the fucking dome with his sword. Like I just heard derp, 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 derp.
All that's going on, Hokkaido realizes, oh shit, we can get out now somehow. And
get my Glocks, pow, 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 pow.
Yep, he pulled the Glock. They get out. Because of this, Saki takes the family out of there. And while that is going on, Polyman's like, all right, killing you all. That's it.
All right, fucking idiots. God damn it.
I'll do it myself. So he
can't get good help these days. Can't ever get good help these days.
Yeah, and then 3 more people show up.
Yes.
And you find out they work for Metropolitan Man.
They're goddamn psychopaths. All of them.
Yep, every single one of them.
Yeah, he basically took the swords and arrows that he fucking gave, that he took from the other god candidates and gave it to them. So he gave it to a guy who's like a evil warlord from the army that has a bunch of fucking guns and shit.
Yep. He's like, hey, hey, Mikaido, you stole from me.
Yeah. Fucking he gives the arrow and wings to a fucking complete and absolute sociopathic fucking psychopathic fucking woman who is hell-bent on fucking biological warfare, and we'll get to that in a second. And then the third person he gives arrows and wings to is a kid with a demon mask on his head that we don't know what he's capable of or anything about him yet. So
now with the girl, she says, oh, I could blow up everyone, get everyone infected.
Well, you're skipping the fact that they triple teamed the army guy. And fucking Hajime slices his, because Hajime is working for them. Oh,
well, that was at the end. She talks about her thing before that.
Oh, okay. Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, like you could kill me, but if I die, this bomb goes off. Whoopsie daisy, and it makes her. It turns her on. Mm-hmm. It's like Girl A, where she gets a squirt when she kills teenagers.
What the fuck?
So where does he find these people?
I mean, bro, he just knows he knows the sinister of the sinister, bro. You're also forgetting that, which I thought was a pretty good detail, as much as I know people like Angel probably hated, like, emotion. Basically, when Saki saves Mukaido's wife and child, he saves the wife first, and because she's pregnant, and the wife, as Saki's walking away, says like, what are you fighting for? And she's like, we're fighting evil, da da da. And then she's like, what are you fighting for? And she's like, I think I'm making up for the sins of my past, and this is what I was chosen to do, which is a pretty crazy statement when you think about that,
Yeah.
So anyway,
basically, when Saki comes back, they try to have a battle plan. So their plan is Mirai, Saki, and Mukaido shoot each other with a red arrow, because that way they can get beat off with the red arrow. So then Kanade was like, oh yeah, I figured this is going to happen. This is no threat to me. And it's like, oh, there's a case where I was like, oh, I ain't run this time. I'm killing you guys today. Y'all are dying. And then Saki talks to Hajime. It's like, hey, can you kill Metropolitan Man? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill him. But he fights the heavy weapons guy. That guy. It led into Hajime slicing his arms. So now he cannot shoot anything.
Nope.
So he is now rendered useless. He can still fly. He just can't shoot anything.
And they're like, if you hurry up and go to the doctor, they might be able to reattach them. And he quivers away. He runs away with his arms to go to a doctor.
And I believe it ends there. Like they're about to fight the other person.
No, so this is where you skipped the part, because this is where you said I have this bomb, and if it goes off, it'll kill the whole world. That's where it ends, where she's just like, oh my god, I'm so turned on, my nipples, tweak them, basically. That's where that ends.
These last 2 episodes were not really great per se.
No, not really.
Yeah, it's just more of Hajime is ugly as fuck.
Hajime is ugly as fuck and dumb.
Yeah, he's very dumb.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing we forgot to mention is basically to prevent them from being controlled by anybody, they shot each other with fucking red arrows.
I said that already.
Did you?
Yeah, I said the plan was they shot each other with red arrows. So.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, I did.
My bad.
Yeah, I remembered. I remember.
So basically, Saki now is in love with Mukaido.
And Mukaido.
No, I'm sorry. The opposite. The opposite. Mirai is in love with Mukaido, and Saki's in love with Mirai now.
Yeah, Mukai.
And Mukaido is in love with Saki, I think.
No, Saki with Mukaido. Mukaido with Saki.
Saki with Mirai.
Yeah,
Mirai with Mukaido,
and
Mukaido with Saki. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were right.
Yeah, because you call it Maki couldn't go to her again because she already got shot.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Alrighty. Very good. Anyway, no one gives a shit.
Anyway.
Aquatope.
We didn't talk about Aquatope first, right?
We did not. We forgot to.
All right. Well, Aquatope is over. I really like the ending of Aquatope.
It ended where it needed to. Basically, they finally talk about the Aquatope, which is a program on in Hawaii, I believe. Yep, and it says
research.
The research says we're only taking 2 people.
No, not that. They're only taking a few people, not 2 people.
No, they said 2 from the attendance, and it was only 2.
I didn't hear the number 2. I just heard a few, and it ended up being like 5, I think.
No, it was 5 from different staff, but mostly out of that crew, it's 2 people.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure there's people from other aquariums.
I don't know. Fuck the other aquariums.
Yeah, but from my guys, I need 2. I'm only taking 2 of you. So I thought this would be a sure thing for Kukuru, but you find out she doesn't even attempt to apply.
Nope.
No, it's actually Fuka.
Yeah, Fuka has the interest of doing it. Man, it all stems from when she got to see the animals, or I'm sorry, the turtles hatch, and she found out about the environmental dangers, and that's where she became super interested. Yeah,
it was Fuka, Iji, and that one Karo.
Yes, Karo. Yeah.
It was those 3, the main ones. Out of those, it was those 3 that actually did apply.
Yeah, and they all got in.
Iji did not.
Did he not?
He did not.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I love this thing.
Yeah, they're like, bro, to fucking make poisonous fish edible. That was pretty good.
Yeah, there was the 2 girls.
I didn't find Karu's that great either. Her presentation was okay, but it wasn't.
They liked hers more because I think she was more passionate.
AG wasn't. The fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I think they were gonna. Originally they weren't gonna pick Fuka.
Yeah, because they
didn't like her presentation of the dolphin.
Yeah, for those so basically the presentation, they chose them. They had to write an essay, and at the essay
and present something.
Yeah, presented what it was, and then they were selected from the teams to do a presentation. They're like, you can use anything and everything for your presentation, as long as it's related to something marine-esque.
Yeah.
So basically, AG wanted to make poisonous animals edible, and had it professionally done and whatever, and everybody loved it. There was another girl that did something. I forget what she did. But she was like a minuscule character. If that.
Are you talking about Karu?
No, there was another girl. Remember, there was a second girl there that they chose that we had never seen before, so she was really insignificant.
Oh, okay.
Karu did a performance on some shit. Do you remember?
I think it's more rare type.
Yeah, it might be rare things. There was
rare habitats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that reminds me. I think the other girl mentioned about coral reefs. So the other random girl mentioned about coral reefs, and I forget what Karu did, but Karu had this well laid out, well written presentation that it was okay. There was another random guy who we never saw. He cared about jellyfish, and then finally Fuka was like, "Hey, let's go outside of the aquarium." And so Fuka takes them all to where the dolphin is. And we're forgetting also. Never mind. That's at the end.
Yeah, I would say that's at the end.
That's at the end. So she takes them all to where the dolphin is, and she basically she dresses up in the dolphin suit from earlier in the season, and she knows that there's kids there, so she starts asking generic questions, and she wants the kids that are around to answer them. And so she basically gets the kids involved, and she talks about environmental stuff. She talks about, between the environmental stuff, she also talks about being able to try and get more people to relate personably with the animals, where Banchan has a family, and sure, he got separated here, but he got separated, but we want them together. So he wanted them to relate more on a personal level, when it comes to reuniting animals and taking care of the animals and things of that nature, which is a pretty good thing. So like Matthew said, the committee was like, oh, Fuka was like basically talking to children. But
and then Akira talked about it's like, well, like he got them, like she got them engaged.
Yeah,
it was informative.
And at the end of the day, we want the next generation to care about the animals, not this generation. And so Fuka would be a great asset because she would be able to really relate and really try and get that like that synergy, that desire and love of aquariums around to the next generation of people. So they end up choosing her.
Yep. We see Fuka on the beach. We actually see her upset. Yeah. So at first you thought she didn't get in, that you find out it's upset because she got in, because that means she has to leave Kukuru.
Yeah, they're going to be on the island for 2 years. So it'll be 2 years away. And Kukuru's happy. And Kukuru even says like, hey, I'm staying in marketing.
Yeah, that was another surprise. Like, you know what? I thought about it.
Yeah. And I'm going to do what I can for the animals for marketing, which is really cool.
Because now she gets to do both things.
Yeah. And so as they hold hands, they're happy for each other. And as they touch hands, they have a vision. The first vision since Gama Gama closed. And it's beautiful. They're swimming with the dolphin. The dolphin is happy. It's like the dolphin is
the dolphin actually left too.
And the dolphin felt like free. The dolphin found its family within Kukuru and Fuka, and then the dolphin disappeared from the bay, and you just see Kukuru and Fuka just shocked while they're holding hands. So that was pretty wild, and that leads us into the final episode.
Well, that part was in the beginning of the final episode.
No,
they were holding hands, but it led into.
The dream was not part of the episode at first. No, that was the end. The dream, the vision was the last part of the previous episode. The final episode begins with
the wedding.
With the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, the wedding's being planned out. You see, like they got everything. They also got the new ship and a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, we got everything for the thing.
Yeah, so you basically see everybody, all the main characters doing like relays to try and bring the fish into the new Sun Dome. And at the end of that presentation, the next day is the wedding. We see everybody take care of the wedding, like try and set up. We see them put like a coral heart, things of that nature. The wedding goes through. The wedding is an absolute success. Everybody loves it. Kukuru and the wedding planner, they get along. Everything's great. They can't wait to keep doing it again. Blah 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 blah. And then after that's done, then they open up the Sun Dome to the public, and that is beautiful. And we see everybody there collaborating, good times. And Fuka and Kukuru go to the Sun Dome together, and they sit there, they admire the fish together, and they hold hands again. I think they hold hands again, right?
I don't know.
They may not hold hands again, but they look up together at the fish, and they experience another vision together. And this one was really emotional. That one, basically, you see Fuka there, you see Kukuru there, and you see Kukuru's family, her mother, her father, her twin sister, her twin sister that's passed away, and they're there and they're all happy. They're proud of Fuka. I'm sorry, of Kukuru and Fuka perhaps, but mostly Kukuru. And the really beautiful part, which you have to really like you have to really like be perceptive of, is that they begin to walk forward together, all of them together in unison. They start walking forward, and as they walk forward, the dead family members, they disappear, but the vision is still around them. And so basically, it's very symbolic of the fact that Kukuru is able to now move forward in her life. She's found this peace, and she's able to proceed forward through her journey, as you know, and no matter whether Fuka's there or not, like she has the power now to be able to proceed because she's grown up, she's grown wiser, she's grown more mature because of all the stuff that she experienced during this season, which is really, really, really telling and really good. I loved it.
Yeah, and during this, we find out it's Fuka's last day before she gets shipped off to Hawaii. Traded. She has the last day, says, I promise you you'll come back. Like, yeah, I will be back.
I'll be back.
Yep. And then they go, they still don't show us that fish god thing.
They never did, and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Pissed me off about this fucking show. Yeah. Complete and absolute waste.
But anyway, we go to 2 years later.
Which I love.
Yes. And then we see them coming back. Fuka, was her hair shorter or longer?
Fuka's hair is about the same, but she looked more mature. Like she like
Yeah,
her body grew, she filled out.
And her pants now reach her breasts fully.
Yes. Kukuru, on the other hand, Kukuru had long hair. We see everybody, we see progressions from everybody. We see the sensei is pregnant again and she's going on maternal leave. Yep. We see the girl in marketing, the other girl, I forget her name, the other girl that was like she's Akari? Like, I don't really Akari, yes. She's now Kukuru's kohai. Kukuru's now been elevated to like some like head project or something. She's like a project manager basically.
Yeah, she's no longer plankton.
She's no longer plankton. She's Necton.
Yes.
Necton, which they said like, oh, she's not plankton anymore. They're like, oh, Necton means that they can swim on their own.
Yep.
But still small fry, which is pretty funny. But anyway, so Akari is going to be Kukuru's kohai. Kukuru is now like the head of this project, whatever going on at the aquarium. She basically mixes her marketing work and she mixes being an attendant because some of the work requires her to be a lot with the attendant team and dealing with them. Yep. So, and she's like a hybrid of the two. And you see her with longer hair. She's more mature, answering the phone, typing away.
And Tsukimi works there too. As
Tsukimi's now the head chef of the fucking of Tingarla. Yeah. We see Kai is still there. We see Karen has become an attendant like she wanted, so she's now on the attendant team. And then we also see Kuya can talk to girls, and Kuya is now the lead. Where what's her face was Karu? Was it Karu?
Yeah.
He's now in Karu's position, so now he's the lead, which is pretty wild. Umiyan is there; he's still cool. And basically, it's pretty wild. That day they prepare, everybody's good coming in, everything's good, and then Fuka and Karu are in a taxi going to Tingarla. Fuka asks the taxi to pull over to stop, and she's like, she's like, I need to make a stop really quick. I'll meet you at the aquarium. Okay. So it drops her off in front of the little jungle like area.
She goes to the woods
near the beach. She goes to the woods near the beach and goes to provide an offering to the fish god. And it's fucking mackerels, which is funny. But she does her little she does her offering, does her prayer, and Kukuru finds out where she's at and absolutely runs to them, and they
embrace each other.
And they embrace each other, tearfully embrace. And that's how the episode ends. And then we see little bits and pieces of like beautiful artwork. And then in an after credit, basically, they talk about like the heart of their friendship and the heart of working together, things like that. And they're like, heart, passion, something. And they're like, and soul. And they talk about Okinawan soul. And that's how the series ends, when they talk about the soul of Okinawa, which is pretty wild. So all in all, I really like the ending. Still pissed off we didn't get anything about the sun god. It's a 3 out of 5. And that's pretty fair.
It wasn't bad.
No,
it definitely jumped off the rails.
It had so much potential, and then it let us down, and then it had a good ending, but it just all the other stuff, at the end of the day, the way I wrote about it in my review on our Facebook group, and my Talk to Keki on Facebook, and on my anime Instagram, AI_anime24. Get those 2 plugs in really quick. But the way I wrote about it is basically, if you like the show, you will like the show if you want to see something. If you want to see the story of 2 girls growing up from a dying dream and becoming, children and becoming women, and not women like, in any sort of sexual way or anything like that, but women in terms of, being full-fledged adults that understand struggles and feelings and hardships and emotions and things of that nature. You'll enjoy that. If you enjoy watching about nature conservation and about beautiful scenery in Okinawa and ocean life and preservation of ocean life, this will be for you. Beyond just the beautiful music and the stunning animation, that's what you're looking for when you see that right. Show, I should say. So if you like any of that type of combination, then this will be the show for you. And that's really about all the positives I can say about it, which isn't bad.
No, it's definitely solid enough if you like the whole slice of life thing.
It just like I wrote, like I told you last week, I didn't get what I would have wanted out of a slice of life from this. I started to get it at the beginning of the season, then it fell off and I didn't get it, and then toward the end I kind of got it, but it didn't hit the way that it was hitting before. It didn't hit the way
the way you wanted it to.
The way it wanted it to. Yeah, like it didn't hit me the way it needed to hit me, and that's fine. Like I said, it's not for everybody. But yeah, that's about all I can say.
All right. Now we are moving on. Faraway Paladin.
I love this week's episode.
They did. It picked up where we left off, where the
last couple episodes have been really good at.
Yeah. It picked up where we left off with the prince threatened, like, hey, I should kill you, William, for suggesting to send my men to this town full of beasts. So what if I killed you? And I was like, no, don't. It's like, you could. You feel you would be obligated to, but hear me out. Here's this. He eventually persuades the prince. He's like, you know what? I like you because your friend gave me this death glare. After saying I was going to kill you. And then Menelodor is like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's a tsundere. He's totally a tsundere.
Yeah, he is. He kind of is.
And then the Archbishop's like, hey, don't do anything to him. It's like, we already said I'm not going to. But okay, guy.
Right.
But basically, it turned into like he's doing stuff without permission. I need him. I gotta teach him the ways of our church. And he even calls like William, like, hey, you're a fucking novice. And we get to that, what you call so the bishop actually starts teaching him. He asks you like, what do you want? What type of paladin are you? It's like it's like that just wants to help people. It's like, yeah, you definitely are a newbie, but it's good that you have that. Basically with the bishop praying, the William's like, what do you pray for? Type of thing. And it's like, okay. You need stuff, like you need money from the people, you need this, you need that. You can't just pray for stuff. So like stuff like that, like money, military, fighting, like all that is necessary to get what you want. You can talk for me, because I'm still the sick one.
Sorry, my bad.
You're good. Like, feel free to jump in at any time.
No, you're good. You normally handle these.
But what you call it? Eventually, we see the group in the room. Robina is writing a song for William.
Did you write? Did you mention already the wyvern killer? Did you mention how you killed the wyvern?
We did not.
So you got to backtrack all the way back. So Matthew's talking about the last episode. That we'll get back to that, but the previous episode that we didn't get a chance to review because of circumstances. They're in the village. They come to White Sails, and they try to set up their businesses and all of that, and basically they eat. They have like this beautiful meals or whatever, and then they go to the temple. The temple. He goes to offer a blessing. He's like, I'd like to speak to, whoever is in charge of the temple. And they're like, well, that would normally be the vice bishop, but he's away on business. So can't really do much. And he's like, oh, I'm a priest. Like, who's your goddess? Oh, Gracefield. They're like, oh, that's a unheard of goddess. Like, the hell? And
he's a boomer. He's like, he's a fucking boomer.
Yeah, boomer. And as he does that, Bishop Bagley, who Matthew referred to previously, shows up, and he's just a dick. He's a fucking brash asshole, and you could tell he's not really religious whatsoever. But he basically puts Will through a verbal test in a way, and he passes it, and he's like, he looks at the guy, and he's like, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? Get him registered and give him make him feel at home, you son of a bitch. Make him feel at home, you son of a bitch. Yeah. And so basically he gets registered with the temple, Menel, who the girl and the guy, Tonio.
Oh, they went their own way then.
Did they?
Yeah. She met.
I thought they were staying in the temple.
Yeah, Tonio, but they weren't there with them.
Yeah, but they basically end up. So they were doing their own thing at the time. But basically Menel, Will, Tonio, and what's Robina. The girl's name? Rubina. Yeah, they end up staying in the guest bedrooms in the temple. And so as they're staying there, after this whole thing occurs, basically, what's it called? A wyvern comes over and starts attacking White Sails, causing all sorts of damage, hurting people, killing people. And Will and Menel spring into action, and they are not successful at first. Will's kind of stupid, he's just thinking about
being rash. Yeah,
he's being brash, and so he's basically thinking of the way that Blood would probably take down a wyvern, but it doesn't work that way for him because he's not that level yet.
Yeah, he's not brute strength.
Yeah, and so Menel's looking at him like, dude, are you a fucking idiot? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to die. Da da da. So he's like, I have a plan. And so basically, they use the fairies and they use Will's magic to bring down the wyvern down to their level. And they try to, they try to capture the wyvern, but they're unable to. And so Will, not wanting the wyvern to get back up, and because it'll be a pain in the ass to get him back down, he's already agitated. It's gonna be even worse. He jumps on the wyvern's back and fucking strangles the wyvern and then breaks its fucking neck to kill it. And so he's known as the Wyvern Killer, and everybody celebrates him. They love him. Without him, all would be lost. And then at the end of that episode is when he's summoned to the prince's palace, where we picked up on the previous episode that Matthew started talking about. So, yes. What part did you leave off on that one?
Basically, the group are in the bedroom. Robina's writing a song about William. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, I don't want to hear it here. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, and then basically William got approval to get a crew to go into the Beastwoods.
Yeah, and the bishop, Matthew basically said, you're an idiot, you shouldn't do that, whatever. But he does. And so basically that approval is through him becoming a knight. But before that, he goes for try and find the crew, as Matthew said, and so they end up in the
tavern.
They end up in the tavern, and they put their request up on the adventurers board.
It's like, you don't get paid.
He's like, very low pay, glory. Guaranteed certain death. Doing it all for glory.
Yeah, that's it. And you're like, you fucking kidding me? Why you do this? And then one of the guys was like, well, what's the problem with that? No.
He's like, you fucking blowhards, shut up.
Well, guess what? I'm taking it.
Yeah, and the fucking guy, him and his other crew,
what was his name?
The big guy.
The big guy, yeah.
Rostov or something. Rostov or something. Rustov or something like that. Rostov.
Rusev.
It was not Rusev Putria. Rusev Machka. It wasn't fucking Rusev. It wasn't goddamn Miro.
Yeah, Rostov, the penetrator.
Rostov, yeah. The penetrator.
Giggity. But basically,
and his gang of people that were there.
Yeah, they agree.
They're like, just give us a bed and food, and
we're good.
If we make some pocket change, even better.
Yep. And then Robina comes back with Antonio. Was like, hey, we made a shit ton of money with your song. We made sales. We're definitely good. William tells them about who they met, and then Robina's like, hey, wait, where'd you meet this guy? I'm trying to talk to him. I've been trying to make a song for him for the longest time, but he won't brag about himself. The nerve of the guy.
Yeah, so they go to try and interview him, and it's the same thing. It's a waste of time. They get pissed off. But Will gets an idea of the type of character he is and stuff. So that's helpful, I guess, as we go along. I don't know. Do you get something tells me I get a little bit of a shady feeling. This guy's not gonna fuck over Will, but he's not gonna be the biggest help. He's not gonna be the biggest help.
Probably not at first.
Yeah,
but he'll get a realization and then be helpful at the end.
It'll probably be like Menno, right?
Yeah, kind of, but not as corrupt.
Yeah, probably. But
you find out people do it for him, but he takes the glory, or
yeah. And so basically, the episode ends after that. After he's got his crew, the episode ends with him getting ordained by the Archbishop and by the Prince of White Sails as a new knight. They do the knighting ceremony, and basically they said, long live the paladin, and so
the faraway paladin.
That's no, so they don't say the faraway paladin.
They did.
No, listen, no, so they don't say it at the time, long live the paladin. So he ends up talking to the Archbishop, and they end up having this thing like you said, Ruby is like, oh yeah, we made a lot of sales. And then one of the guys from the group that he's going to be leading, they're like, hey, we're having some sparring matches, come take a round with us. And Menno's in the corner drinking and shit. He's like, Menno, come. He's like, yeah, I'm not me, I'm good. And so the episode ends with, and that's the story of how I became the faraway paladin, which is
roll credits
because that's the name. And so that was a great end to that.
Yeah, very good.
I kind of wish that when they mentioned that, that's how I became the faraway paladin. That's where they should have ended the season.
Yeah, well, my God, it feels like we're definitely getting more.
No, we are getting more. We only have 2 more episodes, I believe. Till then, so
we do have 2 more. Yes, and then we will be good in that. Moving on, we are going to do Komi. Yeah, this is 8 or 9. 9.
We didn't do 8, right?
Does that really matter though?
I was telling you this at some point. I was like, in all sincerity, Komi just isn't hitting. It's not hitting the way I thought.
I actually talked to my friend about that. Yeah. And he's like, he even said, this is probably one that shouldn't just stayed as a manga.
It's not,
because the manga is really good, and I feel like it's just not all of them hit as an anime.
Yeah,
like Promise Neverland.
it just doesn't. It's not nearly as bad as Promise Neverland by no.
No, I still enjoy it, but it's just more. I think it should just been left as a manga.
It's not just that's just not hitting well. It's just not, and it's not. It's like it's okay. Like there's parts where I chuckle or I'll go, "Ha, I see what they did there," and then meh.
Yeah, like I care about Komi, Tadano, and Osada. That's really it. The rest are just okay, and they're really funny at times, but it's not always. Let's see. We got a new girl, like is a country girl. She thinks Komi's a city girl, and then you see Najimi come in like, "Hey, I forgot my lunch. Order for me, Komi. I want this." Like it says all this complete from fucking Subway.
Subway.
Hola de güey. And then Tadaro's like, don't make Komi do this. That's too much for her. Then Komi's like, I'll do it.
It gets aggravating when I see Komi. Sometimes it's just like, I get that she has like a mental disablement when it comes to being like socially anxious.
It's cute. I think it's cute.
Some of it becomes too much, dude. Like,
so there are times, yeah.
She's in like, first off, she's a fucking moron because she doesn't jot down anything that she says. She doesn't bring it over. Like she likes to write and she writes really well. So you're telling me that fucking someone can't ask Najimi, like, repeat what you said. She writes it down and she fucking brings it to wherever the fuck. They're like, how can I help you? And she just gives them the notebook that says, I want this. Okay, get it done. And you don't have to worry about it. Like,
right.
Come on, dude.
I know. I hear what you're saying. I get it.
She's super anxious. Like she's scared of people's existences and shit. But it becomes too much sometimes, bro. Like, no, stop.
But anyway, Komi fails to get it. The girl thinks
she gets something, but she doesn't fucking get.
She got the turkey avocado, just not the topping.
Yeah.
Say, I know.
Onions, extra pickle, something.
With oats bread and something. Yeah, it's a long, aggravated list. The
typical Subway shit too, right? Typical fucking Starbucks shit, Subway shit. Like Najimi's fucking one of those difficult ass fucking people. God damn it.
No, you know Najimi's difficult from everything that's been going on.
She's difficult off the bat because she's a.
But anyway, the country girl's like, oh man, Komi's so composed, even though really not. She got the sandwich. She goes like, yeah, it's the wrong order. Then Komi feels bad, and Najimi's like, "Oh shit, I made a mistake. Go man." That was a good part of it. Next one was Komi wanted Tadano to call her by her first name because.
You skipped Komi going to Homegirl's house.
Homegirl,
the one eye patch girl.
Oh yeah, I thought that was after that.
No, that was before that.
Oh okay. Well, okay, yeah. Komi hangs out with eye patch girl. Omaharu, yeah, that's her name. Omaharu.
I don't know her name.
I have it up.
Good.
Yeah, Omaharu. So he's like, I should invite Komi over. Let's see what happens. Like Dungeons and Dragons and shit.
Yeah.
And then Komi
she's a super fucking nerd. Super weak. She's a weak.
Super weak. Komi actually accepts the invite with like by herself.
Right.
And Omaharu's like, shit, I'm losing her type of thing. Najimi, come here. Come over. I'm losing her. And then Najimi comes over with Tadano. He's like, oh yeah, he stays. Pretend he doesn't exist.
It's not hard.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He's like, the fuck, bro.
Yeah, he's fine. He's used to it. They're all talking. They were talking about something done over the summer. And then Tadano's like, hey, yeah, that's right, Komi. I did see you at the park. It's like, why didn't you say hi? Like, well, I will next time. Fuck you. I was admiring you actually doing shit.
No, I think that was later.
No, it was during that conversation.
No, it wasn't, dude. That park conversation happened at the end of the previous episode, which is the last day of summer.
I thought it was at our house.
No, it was not. They basically
too many houses.
Yeah, so basically
there are too many houses.
They're at her house. This episode is they're at her house, and then they basically went and they started playing their version of Smash Bros. I forget what it's called. And within that.
Oh right, and then
within that battle, there's like a skit. There's like a skit that happens with all the characters, and it's coincidentally all the characters happen to have like similar names as them.
Swamp Bros or something.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. And so freaking what's it called? So
Obaharu and Najimi were getting competitive while
yeah,
Tadano was teaching Komi how to play.
yeah,
And it led into like, oh yeah, Najimi's great at this game.
yeah.
Obaharu actually got a win from Komi fucking up somehow.
No, Komi was like just doing what Tadano told her, and
Distraction.
like slinging mud. Excuse me, slinging mud. And the mud, if you get the mud on you, is slow, so it gets into Hajime's eyes. Hajime, what the fuck am I saying? Najimi's eyes, and caused her to slow down, and that's what enabled what's her face,
Omaharu, to get the win,
to get the final blow. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I wasn't going all out, you cheated, fuck you. And then that part ended. And now we go to the names.
No, not quite. We don't go to the names. The next part.
Oh, god damn it.
No, you're not quite. The next part.
Then you do this one. I don't give a shit.
All right. The next part is Najimi calls fucking Komi again and is like, hey, sorry to bother you on your day off, but I need help at work. You know, I'll give you some money. So Komi's like, all right, I'll come help you. And basically she has to give out tissues. And so it's an easy job. You just gotta stand there and fucking give out tissues to people. But Komi and her social anxiety starts fucking up, but sees Najimi doing really well. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna get fired up, fucks up. I'm re-fired up. And slowly but surely she ends up, you know, giving out the handkerchiefs. Everybody comes to her. She becomes like more personable without saying a single word, which is cool. And basically they end up giving away all 5,000 of the tissues. In between that, they see like some random woman who's just like, I want tissues, and like everything is wrong. Like, oh, I'm gonna sneeze, I'm sweaty, I forgot my handkerchief, something, I forget, some other shit. And she's like, I want tissues, and she gets the tissues, and that's what starts the trigger. They end up giving away all the tissues. And what's it called? Najimi's like, oh yeah, you know, I'll give you a third of the money. And Komi's like, cool. And then as Komi's like standing there, she's like, a third. And it pans over to the guy in the bear suit, and it's Tadano, who's currently dying of fucking heat exhaustion in the bear suit.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And so then it moves on to the final part. Komi basically has a nightmare that everybody in her class has a sesame seed on their face, and her social anxiety doesn't allow her to talk about the
hey, you got something on your face.
Yeah, she can't say that. So she's going insane because everybody's got something on her face, and it annoys her, but she can't say anything because of her confliction. So, and she wakes up and it's a nightmare, and she's like, oh my god, thank god it's a dream. The next day she goes to fucking school. Wouldn't you know who has a fucking sesame on his face?
I don't know.
Tadano has a goddamn sesame seed on his face, and she's like, what the fuck? And she tries to tell him and goes on, can't tell him. And then there's where Najimi starts bringing up the names. Tadano's talking to Najimi and saying Najimi something, Najimi something.
Like first name, they're on a first name basis.
They're on a first name basis. Well, kind of.
Well, they don't like Tadano's first name. That's why.
Yeah, so we find out basically Komi is like doing like the little like shoulder shifty thing, like, you know, when you see in the hentais when they're turned on or when they're embarrassed in real like normal anime. She's doing the shifty thing, and Tadano's like, are you okay, Komi? And Komi's like, why don't you call me by my first name too? And he's like, oh, he starts to freak out, and he goes, why? Komi's a nice name. And she's like, well, you and Najimi are friends, right? So we're friends too. So why don't you call me by my name? It was super flirty, and she was
and Najimi was fine. Like, oh yeah, Shota.
Shaka.
And then Tadano was like, I can't do it.
You try, Tadano. He's like, yeah, he sounded just like Komi when she's trying to like talk. Komi-san. And they're like, Tadano couldn't do it.
And then
Najimi's like, wow, you brought it up. Do it. Like, called Tadano by his name. Hitsu. His name is Hitsu, right?
Yeah.
Hito is his name.
Yeah.
Hito. He's like, Hito. And he's like, writes it down.
And then they went back to,
and they're like, yeah, you know,
but just leave it.
Yeah, they're like, you guys are fucking terrible. Just forget it. And then she's like, you know what? He's like, I get it though. You know, Hito doesn't roll off the tongue like Shoko or Najimi or something. And Tadano, by the way, you have a sesame seed on your face this whole time. And it says Najimi can say everything.
Yeah,
and that's how the episode.
Yeah. Not bad stuff. I guess a lot of these episodes are hits, but some of them are misses.
You know what this reminds me of? Like, I get that it's done in the style that's similar to Kaguya-sama.
Yeah,
it just isn't as funny as Kaguya-sama. Like, I watch Kaguya.
They're different things. Let's be fair.
They're not though. So, you know, Komi is based off of the principle of having, you know, a crippling societal disease where she's, you know, socially deficient and all that stuff, right? Meanwhile, basically Kaguya-sama is basically a girl and a boy that can't really come to terms with the fact that they like each other and they can't tell each other that. But in terms of like the style, like when it comes to music, when it comes to like the inner conversations, the narrations, it's all very similar. But it just, when it comes to the feelings, again, I know it's a slow burn with Komi-san. Komi-san is just basically a very, very slow burn till her and Tadano eventually go out. And it's kind of that way for Kaguya-sama as well. But there's always, I feel, so much more progress that's done in Kaguya-sama because of the fact that they're a lot more open and they can verbalize it, which obviously helps. And it's also significantly way more funnier than Komi. Like Komi's cute, Komi's got like some chuckable moment, like haha, it's funny, but you're not pissing yourself laughing like you would in a Kaguya-sama. So a lot of times when I watch it and I think of Kaguya-sama because of the narration and the music when it comes to certain stories and things like that, it just it doesn't hit. It's just like it misses. It feels like a different. It seems like a similar version of Kaguya-sama but weaker, which isn't obviously what they wanted. But that's how I.
All right, moving on. Senpai is annoying.
I love this last episode.
We are now back to the winter time.
Yes, it is now winter.
And they passed Christmas because you already had a Christmas episode.
Did we talk about this?
That was like months ago. That was weeks ago.
And they had another one, didn't they? What was the previous episode?
Basketball, but
basketball episode. We had a basketball episode. It's not that real. It was okay.
That's why I'm not talking about this.
It was okay. On. Basically,
not every episode needs a 2-episode recap.
No, well, the only thing I'll say is that basically the last couple episodes has been a high focus on Sakurai and Kazuma, and we get even more focus here, and it was spectacular focus. So
anyway, we're now going to. They're past Christmas. It's New Year's Eve. They're all working before their New Year's break. Like, oh yeah, what's everyone's plans? Igarashi with Natsumi. Kazuma's going to play games. Sakurai's going to be with her brother.
The boss is going on a fishing trip.
No, he's on a fishing trip. Sorry, he's going to a ski resort.
Ski trip. Grandpa, we find out Futaba's grandpa is going on a fish trip.
Yes, and Takeda is basically doing judo practice. Yeah. And then get R&R for his body at the training.
Yeah.
So we find out all those. Sakurai actually invites Kazuma to her place
after a New Year's party where they get a little.
Yeah, they have a New Year's party. They all get crunk.
Yep.
Get drunk. They eat. They go home. They're happy. Sakurai invites Kazuma, like, "Hey, you want to spend New Year's with me and my brother?" He's like, "Yeah, I like that." And then you find out Yuto. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have New Year's plans with my friends.
I want to know who her friend is. I want to know who his friend is.
That was a group of friends. So, well, it's not Natsumi. So
it's not.
Yeah, because she's with Igarashi. But anyway, because of this, oh yeah, you're on your own with Kazuma. And then she's like, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. And then Kazuma comes like, oh yeah, I just saw where's your brother? Oh, he just left. You didn't see him? I was like, no. Because it came there like a second after he left. Because of this, it's just you and me here. She's like all freaking out. She's all flustered, eating tsundere and then she find out she ruined the food.
Because she was all embarrassed. She fucking forgot that it was on.
Like, hey, you forgot to. It's like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
So while all that is going on there, Sakura apologizes. Kazuma says, I don't care. I'm just enjoying your company. That's all I care about. Then we go to Igarashi and Natsumi. They're hanging out at Igarashi's apartment. They get a FaceTime with Oji-chan, the grandfather. Fishing trip, I'm fishing with the boys at past midnight on the boat.
Yep.
Somewhere to see. And the guy's like, hey, that's your granddaughter. She's cute. He's like, hey, goose, stay the fuck away from her. If I was going to have sex with my granddaughter, it's going to be me.
No one said sex, though.
It said.
No, it's not. They were they look like two fucking Yakuza guys. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's so cute.
I know, but again, he has that complex. Like how the sisters with their brothers, that Oni-chan type thing.
Yeah.
It's like that, but grandfather, granddaughters.
Yeah.
But I get he cares for her. But it's just creepy at times.
Big time.
Yeah, and we get the whole Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
What is it? Akimashita omedetou. I gotta remember how to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go to the next day. We see the gang at the shrine. Igarashi and Natsumi already there. They see Takeda. They go towards him, and then Natsumi smirks like, "Oh, I have somewhere to be, kind of important. Igarashi, you go hang out with him while I go take care of this." And then Takeda is like, "Hey, you want to do a shrine with me?" And she's like, "I guess. Fuck you." And then they are talking about they do a shrine together, they do a prayer, and they go to the fortune thing. It's like, "Oh yeah, this fortune is the best." Like, no, this one is from this person. Oh yeah, you want to place a bet? You want to fucking go?
You want to fuck with me?
Yeah.
Would you want to fuck with me?
Anyway, they get their fortune, they stare at it, and there's this awkward silence. And they're like, it's not that great. Let's forget this happened. They hang it up. And they find out like the person you're destined to be with is right next to you. That's what they got. And then Igarashi and Takeda are at the ramen shop. And then on the TV, you see Kazuma and Sakurai on screen. They're like, "Oh, look at this lovely couple." It's like, "Oh, we're not a couple. Like, we're just hanging out. We're just."
That was so funny. That part was so funny.
Yeah. And then you see an embarrassing picture of Igarashi and Takeda.
She was asleep. Oh my god, it's so cute.
And they're like, "Oh, look at this cute father and daughter."
And Futaba loses her whole fucking shit.
And she's like, "I'll be right back. I forgot something." Takeda's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
And she proceeds to beat Kazuma's ass.
He beats the shit out of him. I was like, and then
it was fucking great.
And then Kazuma wakes up on Sakurai's lap, and then when Sakurai goes to get a drink, you see a little girl. I was like, "Hey, are you dating her?" No, I'm just a coworker. "Oh, then can you explain this picture?" And then before Kazuma could look at it, Sakurai picks like, "Oh yeah, what's this?"
You forgot. They're like, "Oh, we're just coworker." They're like, "Well, do you like her?" And Kazuma admits, "Yeah, I like her. I'm just a nobody, and I don't even know how she feels about me." And so the girl's like, look at the picture. But before you can look at the picture, Sakurai looks at the picture like, "Oh, what a cute little girl. Oh, a camera, something fishy's going on." She looks at the camera and she turns into fucking Medusa. Like, man,
it's like delete.
Did you see this picture? You see this picture? No, I didn't. You're forbidden from seeing this picture. Oh, Nietzsche, are you gonna delete it? Yes. Like, yes. And you're like, you can't take pictures like this. And the episode ends with
you see the
picture, and she kissed him while he was unconscious, which was absolutely fucking adorbs. Fucking adorable, dude.
That counts as first base.
It does.
Kiss an unconscious body.
That counts as second base, bro. Technically, it counts as third since there was no permission. There was no permission, so hey, no consent, bro.
This was definitely cute.
It was a dude. I fucking
I enjoyed.
I love this shit.
All right, moving on. Assassin.
Another good episode.
Yes. This is the penultimate. It kicks off where we left off with the dad telling.
Oh yeah, they don't know about last week's episode. Everything went well. They went on a date.
We talked about that.
Did we?
We did.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
You must kill Dia.
Yeah, it's like that's like, you gotta kill Dia. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?
We find out. Well, first off, why do I gotta kill Dia? And so they go through the story of basically, they go through a long historical story about what happens, like what happened in the war, what happened there, and we find out. And one of the major points is that, hey, Dia's your cousin, dude, because she's from your mom's part of the Vicone family. So by definition, you're related to the Vicone family. So she's your cousin, bro. And fucking, she's like, I don't care. I love her.
Yeah, and Luke is like, "Oh yeah, 3 things. 1, she helped me. 2, I love her. And 3, I promised I would be there if she needed me. And she needs me."
Yeah, and it was pretty wild. They're like, so basically, they come up with a plan basically where, listen, we're not gonna kill Dia. Like, she needs to die. Like we're not gonna kill her. You're gonna bring her back here alive. You're gonna come back alive.
Yeah.
And if this happens and they find you there, you're helping them out. This becomes a fucking international incident, basically.
Yeah, basically make it like they killed her, even though he did it, and bring her back.
Yeah. So basically, as he prepares, Tarte goes like, "You love Dia, don't you?" Yeah. Like, all right, I'm gonna help you. Like, no, you don't have to help me. Like, no, I'm gonna help carry you.
Yeah, because like if you do this yourself, you're not gonna recover in time. So.
Yeah. So basically, she does like a wind spell and basically uses centrifugal force and drag and inertia to drag Lug along wind, and so she goes about maybe like I think halfway. She made it
a
about
little, a
halfway,
little, a little over halfway. Like
little over halfway
she's
before
getting
she
tired.
collapses. Yeah,
And
she
she's talking
collapses.
about like, oh,
Yeah.
like he saved me, even though I was used by him. But I
Yeah,
said I'm
but
gonna give my life to him.
yeah, because he gave me purpose when nobody wanted me. So
Yeah.
I have a reason for being used, and I'll just give myself up to him forever because I love him. And so she makes it about halfway. She collapses. Luke saves her from getting like just tore to shit because
Blown
of
off. Yeah.
because of the wind differentials and stuff. And so basically as he picks her up, she's like, "Are you okay?" Yeah. And he's super cold because he's more concerned about Dia and the situation. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna keep going." And Tarte is like, "Promise me you'll come back with her, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll come back with her." And he just goes off on his way. And Tarte just sits there, and between like, and it's funny. I did chuckle because they did a fucking close up of her legs twitching like a hentai.
Yeah,
It made me chuckle.
They did that.
It made me chuckle, but that was what.
There's that while she wished them like good luck and all that.
Yeah, she's like,
he's gone, right?
Yeah, and then fucking as she wished her luck, he goes on his way, and as she stands there trying to compose herself, she realizes everything, and she's like, "I love him so much," and she just begins to absolutely fucking bawl.
Yep,
absolutely bawl. And it's quite sad when you really see it. So,
it is now nighttime. Luke is he's by her house. He looks around. He's like, "Oh, there's guards there. There's guards there."
Yes.
Basically he has to make a strategy to basically confuse some of them, like basically get their attention away from him and from the house. So
boy, that sounds good.
Yeah, it does. So he snipes some of them, and then when he moves direction, he has those crystals where he puts his mana in, and he throws them like grenade launchers, basically. Like he puts a little bit of fire, wind, a little bit of earth.
It's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
He makes little mini nukes out of them shit.
Yeah. And so he starts throwing them in different areas to put everyone in a stray. People are dying, and then you see some of the guards like, "Oh shit, now's our chance to attack them."
Yeah, so basically he snipes all the magic users first, then he does the bomb stuff, and when they realize everything that's going on, they attack. And this allows Luke to basically go undetected. He snatches a woman's body that's been killed on the battlefield, snatches a woman's body, and he mentions like, "Hey, I got to make it into the castle without being noticed in order for this to truly be successful." And so he manages to do that. He confronts Dia, like, "Oh, I love you, you came for me, blah 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 blah," and that's how the episode ends, if I'm not mistaken.
There is an after credit with Maha.
I don't think I saw it.
No, basically, you see Maha doing research on the stone. One of the girls comes and he talks to her. Like, "Oh yeah, we found this," and then Maha got realized like, "Oh shit!" Like, I think that the hero's there, or there's stuff else. They didn't go into full detail what she saw, but this is something that made her freak out.
Well, we have gotten confirmation the hero shows up in the final episode. I'm sorry, Wednesday we record.
Yes. That's what happened there. Great stuff. We're definitely gonna see.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
So we got that fun stuff, and now we move on.
Indeed, we will.
Takt OP Destiny.
It's so good. Such good shit, pal. Such good shit.
We picked
like my egg. The egg. It's fucking good.
Egg. I hate that fucking $100 million.
That's where we get it from Cornette.
I've been watching that. I've been listening to that. Right, I love his impression of Vince.
Yeah, fucking. Spoke on my egg.
Yes. But anyway, basically, you see, what's that composer's
name? Which one?
Schindler.
Schindler?
Yeah.
Schindler?
We talked about Lenny Dead.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so Schindler is at this Symphonica base. He's like surrounded all by all.
Oh, that's not Schindler. That's what's his dick?
Sagan. Sorry,
Sagan. Yes. Yeah,
I'm looking at the wrong guy.
No, yeah, it's the Sagan.
Yes, yeah. Sagan is back at headquarters.
He's back at headquarters. He's in the base of the Symphonica where there's like a beautiful like scenery. Like
all these crystals.
It's like basically a composer's hall.
Yeah,
and there's crystals. Yeah, and he fucking.
D2s.
And what he does is he fucking stabs the crystal with his hand, and this commences a D2 hive spawning basically within the Symphonica, causing mass chaos.
Yeah.
At this time, basically, Takt wakes up from his coma, like a little mini coma, and puts on the news, see what's up. And so Ume and Titan are downstairs, and he says, listen, we're gonna go,
basically put him in cryo sleep.
We're gonna go basically try and so basically let's back up before that happens. You're right. So basically, what's her face?
Anna and this other sister.
Yeah, I forget her name now.
I forgot who.
Fuck, it's an easy name too. Shit. Anyway, the sister basically.
Oh shit.
Look it up, please, while we.
Yeah, sure.
Her name's critical, so please. Yeah, so basically, Anna and her sister are having a conversation as this is happening, within the Symphonica, basically saying like, listen, if we don't keep going, if we don't do something, Takt's got a month to live. So, and then without Takt, Ume is gonna die too. So we need to fucking put them in cryo sleep. And so, as this happens, then the hive basically breaks through the Symphonica, and they're trapped.
Charlotte.
Latte.
Yeah, Latte. But it's Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte, but she goes by Latte. Anyway, so basically, Takt wakes up. He's like, hey, we're gonna go save Anna and Lot. You guys are coming with me, okay? But Titan's like, no, you can't go. And she's like, no, like, we're going. And then she's like, if I'm going, I'm gonna go after Saigon. He's like, that's fine, we're gonna go too. But you can't. We're going. Like, you don't understand, we're going. So they go through, they have like the conversation, basically, they break through. They start fighting the D2s, and as they fight the D2s, Takt goes out because he's fucking.
We also see all the other music arts.
Yes, we see different music arts battling, which is pretty cool. And so as they break through, they try and find Lot and Anna, and Takt goes unconscious for about 5 minutes or so. And he progresses, and Titan's like, are you okay? And fucking I love Takt, like, of course I'm not fucking okay. Do I look okay to you? I love that. I wish more people would do that. Like, it's honest, the fuck. But anyway, as this is happening in a different segment of the Symphonica, we see Lot and Anna try and escape the D2s, but they end up getting basically cornered by one. And at this moment, Walkure, who's in the building, shows up and saves them, and basically sticks with them as they try to escort them out. There ends up being a giant battle in the main like lobby of the Symphonica, and everybody ends up basically collaborating. And basically Takt uses his composer ability, directs Titan, Walkure, and Destiny in a 3-way attack against a giant fucking D2, and they managed to take out the D2. Then I don't know how the fuck he didn't break his legs, but he jumped from like a 3rd-story balcony to the floor.
Especially when half his body's
especially when half his body is like, he's got no fucking life force. But he jumps from like the 3rd-story balcony, lands on his feet like a cat, and like walks up. And they're like, all right, I forget something. Basically, him and Walkure start to get into a fight, and they like Walkure wouldn't shut up, and so Anna fucking basically karate chops fucking Walkure. Titan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she fucking pistol whips her.
Pistol whipped her unconscious.
Say, all right, you talk too much.
Yeah, she's like, I love you, but shut up for a second. And so Walkure's unconscious, and then this allows Anna to really have a conversation with Takt about like everything that's going on. Like, you have a month to live, you're gonna die, I don't want you to die. And Takt basically says like, listen, like, my life is music. If I die, so will music. I will not allow music to die.
He's like he's aware and he chose this.
Yes, he's like, I've completely, and he mentioned that already before, like, I'm completely responsible for this. This is the journey that I've chosen, and I have no regrets on this journey. And in a wild moment, Anna walks up to him face to face and kisses him, and fucking kisses fucking Takt. And Takt is like, what the fuck? And everyone's like,
fuck you.
Yeah. And Anna's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I kissed you. I don't know why I feel this way, but damn it, come back alive. And, they basically go on their way. Along the way, Ume, he basically tells Titan, like, listen, take Anna and take Anna, Lot, and the unconscious Walkure, get out of here. We're gonna face Saigon. We know where he's at. So as they're going, Destiny tries to like confront, like, talk, like, oh, I know Nichan kissed you, and he's, it's kind of a funny moment. But basically,
Destiny's like, we're going to die. I was like, yep, like, all right, good. This is how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, basically. And so basically, they arrive to the grand performance area where they're at, and we see what's it called? We see Hell. Yeah,
we see D2s.
We see a bunch of D2s. We see that the main hive, right? And the bunch of D2s. They're like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to do something. And at that moment, hell, and a damaged heaven from the last battle, because basically, for what it's worth,
she's like almost dead. Basically,
she's almost dead. Yeah, basically, Destiny has incapacitated her to where she's like not really serviceable. And so,
well, actually, no, Titan did.
Was it Titan?
Yeah, with that transformation.
Oh, it was Titan. Yeah, it was Titan. Titan has incapacitated Heaven. And so basically they there's like a brief conversation between them, like, oh, and Takt and Destiny are like, yeah, we're gonna kill you guys. And Heaven, I'm sorry, Hell looks to Heaven and was like, hey, you hear that? You hear what's going on? And then they said, yeah, let's do it.
And they get stabbed.
And they throw the tuner, the piano tuner, the fork, the tuning fork in the air, and it slices them both in the heart at the same time, like a sharp bullet. Slices them both. They become mud. From the mud, Heaven's ability with the machine gun comes out, and they machine gun the entire fucking hive of D2s. They kill all the D2s, and then from that mud rises a combination of Heaven and Hell called Morpheus. Orpheus. So Orpheus spawns and says, now take up your weapons and never look back. And that's how the episode ends. Fucking brilliant. I love that line. Take up your weapons and never look back. Yep. Oh, that was so fucking fire.
They're all dying.
Everyone's gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
it's fucking great. But no, just oh my god, it's a 5-star. It's a goddamn 5-star. No one can tell me anything otherwise. It's a goddamn 5-star to me. It's a 5-star. Fuck out of here.
I did not like the kiss though. I did not like the kiss though.
Nazi.
Like it's just out of nowhere. Like they showed no romantic interest or anything. It's just more of a good luck kiss than a romantic kiss. It's just out of nowhere.
Well, you kind of expected Destiny to kiss.
Yeah, I mean, maybe at the end before he's dead, but with Anna, it's just so out of nowhere. It's just with that.
But I think it's because Takt is different, because Takt doesn't show any sort of affection whatsoever. So he doesn't look at either of these girls with any sort of let me phrase that. He does definitely look at Cosette with like a knowing little sister vibe, and that's kind of translated over to Destiny. So they're basically like the brother sister couple. Yeah. But with Anna, it's been more of like a mother figure, because he didn't have a mother. His mother died young. And he had his father, then his father died, and he had nobody except for Anna. Right. So I'm very surprised he doesn't look at Anna in like a motherly figure. Also, that begs the question is, how old is Anna? Like, that's, because Cosette, I think, is what, 12 or 13?
No, Takt and Cosette are adults. I think they're like 18.
Takt and Anna are definitely adults. Cosette.
So I think Cosette's close to his age.
14, 15. But Anna always reminds me of like mid-20s. Early to mid 20s.
Hold on.
Charlotte looks like 30s. So
I'm trying to find out.
It's gonna be tough because I don't think that's mentioned, unless it's mentioned in the manga. We don't know.
There's no manga. It's a game.
Is it a game?
Yeah, it's a mobile game.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's based off a mobile game.
Really? I didn't know. I thought it was an original.
I mean, anime wise, sure, but again, it's based on the phone game.
I didn't know that it was based on anything. I thought it was like literally just like a complete animation that was made up.
Yeah, they don't say their ages.
I mean, we're just speculating at this point, but I can see what you're saying. How it's not really a romantic thing, but I don't know.
It was just it felt like out of nowhere.
It was very out of nowhere. I didn't mind it though, because I love any sort.
I know you do
in these things. So it got me. I was like, oh, I was like, bro, I was like a little girl. I was like a little fucking girl, like looking at the thing with my hands clasped, like, oh, they kissed. Oh my god, that was so cute.
All right, now moving on. Otome.
So before we continue, because we didn't talk. Did we talk about Otome last week? I don't think
we did. We talked about the earthquake.
Did we talk about the earthquake?
We did.
I just, on principle, again, it just as another reminder, I love that they're bringing real life historical events into this fucking show. Like, just the principle of the fucking great earthquake of 1922, I think 22, right? Or 23. 23. The great earthquake of 23.
Whatever's in that Taisho area.
Yeah. Well, it's all the Taisho area, but it's
whatever earthquake happened around that time.
Yeah, 22 or 23. Either way, just the principle of them like bringing in the historical aspect and then bringing like it's beautiful. And then on top of that, the story that's being told, beautiful. But anyway, we digress.
We digress. Basically, we picked up where we left off with Tamahiko traveling to Tokyo, and then Rio actually Rio comes with them, right?
Yeah, so basically, I'll take.
Yeah, you take this one.
I'll take. I could take them all at this rate, basically, but I know you're a little under the weather, buddy. I'll save your voice. Basically, Tamahiko's walking down the road. He's confronted by Rio and the kids. We find out that Rio wants to go with Tamahiko to Tokyo because she's worried about Rotaro. And then Tamahiko's like, well, what about you guys? Like, oh, we're all good. Like, okay, we have each other. Like, okay, cool. What about the village? Everybody's like, hurt. The hospitals are fucked. My sick grandpa is sleeping outside. And Tamahiko's like, you know what? While I'm away trying to find Yuzu, why don't you guys move all the sick and injured and whoever needs shelter to my house? My house is still sturdy. Everything's good. Like, it's got rooms. You guys can help yourself to the food and the medicine. Doesn't matter. We're all good. Like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then so him and Rio, they end up going on their journey. And the journey takes about 2.5 days walking. So they expect to get into Tokyo the day afterwards. As they're going along, they see all the destruction that the earthquake has caused, and they hear rumors of how bad Tokyo is, and it scares them both. And along the way, they also manage to find a newfound respect for each other because of the fact that they're protecting what they love most. Tamahiko loves Yuzu, wants to protect her. Rio loves Rotaro and wants to protect him. So they find
because he's been doing that for her.
Yeah, and it basically, as Rio said, I want to protect the one thing that's most precious to me because he helped me before, and the most precious thing I have, which is really adorable. And so they get that mutual respect and understanding for the love of their family. As they arrive in Tokyo, they see literally the only building that's standing is Tokyo Station. Everything else is, by the way, Tokyo Station, unrelated. Tokyo Station in that anime looks really, really close to Mars Red because you didn't watch Mars Red last season.
I did not know.
Yeah, Mars Red is also Taisho era, based in 1928, right before the Great Depression. So just to see that Tokyo Station is very similarly drawn. A little more detail, I think, in Mars Red. But
right.
In any case, they see the only thing open is Mars Red. And so it's Mars Red. Wow, it's fucking Tokyo Station. And so Tamahiko's there, starts yelling out for Yuzu, 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 Yuzu. And instead of finding Yuzu, he finds Tamako. And she's like, Oni-chan, and they're like, what's going on? Whatever. And then he passes out from exhaustion and stress. He wakes up. Tamahiko does, I should say. Tamahiko wakes up to his uncle caring for him. And he's like, Uncle, what are you doing in Tokyo? They're like, oh, all the medical professionals from all over the country are here in Tokyo to take care of people, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I got to find Yuzu. And he's like, listen, I don't mean to be an asshole, but, finding one girl in this fucking disasters, you're not going to do it. And he's like, well, that's why I'm here. So I can do it. And it inspires his uncle, and was like, wow, you've really changed.
He's not a selfish asshole.
Yeah, he's not. I remember, he tells a story. He's like, I remember when I worked on your arm, how you had this hopelessness and you had this look of, I don't trust anyone or anything ever. And now you've completely changed, which is great. And so as he's walking out with Rio to try and find Yuzu and Rotaro, Tamako joins and was like, hey, I got permission from Uncle. Like, I'm gonna go with you. I want to find Yuzu Onisama. And so they're like, all right. So they split apart. They spend the next 2 or 3 days seeing more destruction, more death, no leads, all this shit. It's all fucked up, unsuccessful. And so Tamahiko, his mind starts to wander, and it goes from positive to negative, and he starts losing his shit. And Rio's there to basically comfort him, like, no, we're good, she's strong, or not his sister, not Rio. Tamako said that, sorry. And he ends up making Tamako cry because of the fact that he's being he's being negative, and he didn't mean to do that. So it's all really good as they go along the way. They also see Kotomi and Hitori, and they are
helping people calm down.
Yeah, helping people calm down and relax by singing. It's really cool. And they explain what's going on. They're like, oh, well, if you see her, we'll let you know. All right, cool. They're like, here's some food also, because I know you're hungry. Okay, so he eats some food. He's like, I want to have more, but I'm gonna save it for later. And as he's gonna put it away, a little boy steals his food and is running away. And his little sister was much younger, is trailing, and she trips and falls right in front of Tamahiko. So the brother, fearing that Tamahiko was going to beat both their asses, was like, please don't hurt my sister. I'll give you back your food. And he's like, I understand what it's like to protect something you love. You could have the food. And they're like, oh, thank you. And like they end up like having a conversation as they're walking to like their they're like, oh, we have a friend that's injured. Our sister, he's like, our big sister is injured. We need to save her. Like, okay, like let's go save her. So as he's walking to the house, they're like, oh, we just took shelter in here. Like it's about to collapse any minute. They're like, it doesn't matter. We took shelter. We need to take shelter. Like, okay, whatever. Oh, and I'm forgetting to mention along the way, Tamahiko and Tamako end up running into Yuzu's friend, her pregnant friend. Yeah. And the pregnant friend is like, oh, so you must be with Yuzu. And she's like, no, I don't know where she's at. Unfortunately,
we got separated.
We got separated in the commotion. The panic as we see fire tornadoes in their background, which is pretty incredible that they have fire tornadoes. But that's an actual real thing. There were legitimately fire tornadoes in this earthquake that happened. And so September 1st, 1993. But in any case, yeah, so we find out that like we hope she's well, blah 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 blah, all good. So basically Tamahiko leaves Tamako to take care of the pregnant woman. Like, you take care of her, she's pregnant. Like, okay, I'll find her, it's all good. That's when this conversation comes in. And then
we get to where we were.
Yeah, and so the kid was like, oh yeah, well, the girl's not really our actual sister, but she took care of us after my sister fell and hurt herself, and then she fell and hurt herself. Yeah, they're like, Yuzu and Isama. They're like, Yuzu. And so he brushes over into this fucking house that's about to collapse, sees Yuzu there unconscious, basically, with a wrap around her head.
They're like, are you Tamahiko?
They're like, are you Tamahiko? And he's like, yeah, I'm Tamahiko. They're like, she's been like whispering your name in her sleep this whole time, talking to herself. Tamahiko-sama, you hear it doing it at that moment. Tamahiko-sama, Tamahiko-sama. And so they're like, listen, you're going to go over to the stage. He asked the kids, like, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to wrap this quilt around me really tight and her. Okay. And then he brings He brings Yuzu's scarf that he had made in the previous episode for his birthday. And so wrap this around me really tight and her really tight. You're going to go to the station, like the local station. You're going to see Kotomi and Hitori. Let them know you met me and let them know that I have Yuzu. And okay, so they go do that. And then as they do that, he basically wraps Yuzu around him.
And even his bad arm.
Yeah, even with his bad arm. And starts running towards like the local medical facility that's in the area to try and save the station. As she starts whispering, Tamahiko-sama, Tamahiko-sama, to end the episode. Beautiful, beautiful fucking love story. This is easily the fucking best romance of the season. They are easily the best couple of the season. There's no competition. All you guys that love Komi, you guys are fucking stupid. All you guys that love fucking Senpai is annoying. Not enough progression between either characters. There's too much dancing around each other. Nope. Easily. This is the romance of the season. You guys are fucking morons if you think otherwise. Honest to God. You guys don't know what the fuck you're looking at. If you think there's any other what other fucking anime can you think of that has this sort of fucking relationship? Eris and Rudy? Nope. Fucking let's go down the list because I'm in here. Fucking Lena and fucking Shin.
We need to move on, damn it.
Paladin fucking has no fucking any sort of relationship, anything there. Platinum Man, Saki and fucking Saki and Mirai. Fuck no. Scarlet Nexus. What? World's Finest Assassin. I mean, he's got a nice little fucking harem going on, but he's not fucking any of them. He doesn't love any of them. He loves his cousin. He's a cousin fucker. What the fuck? He did fuck his cousin in the previous episode because they were swimming in the bath together and shit, and they kissed and made out. Nope. Fucking
moving on.
Takt and Ume, they're fucking like sisterly. And on fucking Takt, we just discussed that came out of fucking nowhere. Red and Ritz are the only decent competition from Banished Hero. They're the only decent competition, and they don't measure up to goddamn fucking Tamahiko and Yuzu. Fucking stop it. Fucking Demon Slayer with fucking Tengun and his 3 whores. No. Boruto, laughable. Fucking stop it. Mieroku-Chan, nothing happened. Aquatope, nothing happened.
Okay.
God damn it.
Motherfucker, hush. You done? You feel better?
Spunk on my egg.
You feel better now?
Egg.
My God, I told you to shut like 5 times.
I'm good.
All righty. Moving on.
Spoiler alert. That's who I'm voting for. Fucking goddamn romance of the season, bitches.
Well, I still ain't telling you all shit till next week. Demon Slayer.
A good episode.
Good fun. Zenitsu is great.
I like him way more this season than last season, but
it's more tolerable in a comedic way.
Bro, I'm not even gonna front. Fucking Inosuke needs to lose the boar's head because he actually is a really pretty boy.
I know he's definitely attractive, but
he's totally trappable.
That's the thing. He is. He actually is.
Yeah, this is out of all three of them.
Even Tanjiro thought it was a girl at first with the face.
Yeah, bro. Tanjiro, you know what's crazy is Tanjiro is the least girlish looking, like he's the most. Well, let me phrase that. No,
I talk about after being groomed.
Yeah, after being, they're all passing this trap.
Well, Zenitsu is ugly. I'm sorry, Zenitsu just not pull up, but totally. Tanjiro kind of does.
Tanjiro, he's the most natural looking because you know fucking what's his face. Zenitsu has his hair like done in like that ugly like form, and that's why he looks so ugly.
Yeah, Inosuke is more.
Inosuke is completely naturally feminine, bro. It's like literally he's got like a dude's body and a girlish fucking face, no facial hair, and then he's got the voice of a fucking cancer patient.
Yeah, and then with Tanjiro, it was more of he could literally do anything they tell him. So
he's more natural though. Like he literally, there's nothing about him that changed except two rosy cheeks. That's it. He's got two rosy cheeks.
Yet they get the girls in the house. Like, no, you're taking that fucking off.
Huh?
Yeah, everyone wiped off their makeup. Like, nope, they're too pretty for this. Fuck you.
Yeah, man, crazy.
We digress. Anyway. We digress. We find out more about the upper moon demon for this one.
She's crazy.
What's her name again?
I forgot her name.
I forgot her name too. Hold on. Let me
She's sexy too though. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she's gorgeous.
Bro, I would totally want to stick it in her demon cunt and fucking let me die after.
Daki. Her name is Daki.
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 We're talking about fucking traps and Daki.
But we find out more about her. She's been at that house for a long time, it looks like.
Bro, we find out she's been at that house for fucking goddamn almost a century.
Yeah.
So I think she traverses between the houses. That's really what it is.
She owns those houses.
She doesn't own the houses. She fucking.
But like she's like the bane.
Yeah,
she's the main bitch.
She's the main bitch of the three of the at least two houses, as we see in this episode, because she's basically got. So basically, the episode kind of it does two flashbacks. It does a flashback of when basically what's it called? It does a flashback of when Daki manages to trap the first wife in the one house that Makia that Inosuke is currently in. And we see that happen 2 days previous where she traps him after finding out like, oh, what are you doing with these letters? And that's when they end up finding out. And then later on in the episode, we see her 2 days previous in the different house where she killed the head of the house because the head of the house figured out that she wasn't human. She didn't know what she was, but she figured out she wasn't human because of the fact that she heard a story from her grandmother who was at least
like you had the same expression, the same looking down at you
as a demon lady, like, who are you? And she's like, oh, she's not human because they take the form of Hime and her name is Hime. And they're like, who are you? And so she basically unveils her demon form, brings her up. They're like, if you realize that, she's like, you realize the other people stayed alive because when they realized that they didn't say anything, but you're a lot stupider than what you are. It doesn't matter anyway, you're gonna die. And she dropped her from like 200 feet to her fucking death.
And then Muzan's like, not bad.
And Muzan shows up. It was like, like you're my pride. Like you've killed 7 Hashiras. You've devoured countless humans.
But you warned her like you have to learn to be careful.
Yeah, like you've devoured countless humans. Like you've gotten stronger since the last time I saw you, and you're going to continue to get stronger. But you have to remember that unless they're like, if they're not a Hashira, you can't ever tell them apart. That all humans are the same to you unless they're like that strong. So you have to be careful, like Matt said. And we find that out. But prior to that, the reason why we find this out is because basically Inosuke opens up the
attic.
No, he opens up the door and finds that everything is all like fucked up. He notices there's wind, even though the doors are closed and it's locked and everything. Yeah. And so he takes the food, throws it at the attic because he realizes there's something in the attic, and this triggers the demon to go away. And he basically follows the demon throughout the house, fucking like breaking down doors and windows and shit to try and fucking find the demon. He corners the demon to a wall, and as he corners the demon to the wall, a drunk fucking patron walks around the corner
and gets punched in the face,
slugged completely out by Inosuke. And unfortunately, because he slugs the fucking guy instead of the wall that the demon is in,
she escapes.
She escapes. and Inosuke is in big trouble because he tore up half the fucking house and punched the fucking patron in the face.
Meanwhile, while Tanjiro is basically having the time of his life, doing all this grunt work, like, oh yeah, I did all this, I did this already. It's like, what do you want me to do? The girls are like, dude, calm the fuck down. You don't stop doing all this work so fast.
Right.
And then we get to Zenitsu, and he sees a girl crying. Again, you see, but there's like destruction in that whole entire room.
Yes.
And then he checks up on her, like, what's wrong? And then we see Daki there.
That in her.
And it's like, who the fuck are you?
Yes, and that's when we see the story that I just mentioned a few seconds earlier about like how she became the bee, basically. And so
basically
at the end, basically, Zenitsu realizes that's definitely the demon that we're looking for. I didn't even recognize its existence. That's probably an upper rank. Oh shit! But he still stands up for the little girl.
Yeah,
and he gets fucking wrecked,
backhanded.
He gets fucking pimp slapped across the room.
And someone catches her like, "Hey, that's not very."
Yeah, lady, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Treat his wounds. Da 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 da. Like she flips completely. But yeah, basically. That we know where the demon currently is, and I think, like as I mentioned previously, I believe the demon has the ability to traverse the 3 houses.
Yep, which is coincidentally where they are. Did it get to Tanjiro's yet? They will soon.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, basically shows Tanjiro. Basically,
you didn't see the after credit.
I did see the after credit on this one.
Okay.
Yes, I did see the after credit on this one. But the end of the quote unquote end of the episode shows Tanjiro smelling the demon in the air. Like there's a murky feeling. I don't like it. And at the same time, what's it called?
Needs to keep his distance.
And then Maki also not Maki. What am I saying? Daki basically realizes like, oh, that boy was strong. Da da da. Like he's no normal human. He's probably part of the.
Now he knows that there's demon slayers here.
Yeah, but I'm gonna devour him anyway. It doesn't matter who you send. I'll kill them all. As Tanjiro has that murky death feeling in the air. And yes, as Matthew said, there's an after credit.
Zenitsu wakes up, but you see the 3 little girls that are part of that house. They're basically thanking him for like saving them, all that, even though he didn't have to. They gave him food. They gave him like a rag for his face.
Zenitsu's idiot ass almost blew that he's a dude.
Yep, almost blew his cover. And that was where we are with that. Very fun stuff.
Good shit. Very good shit. It's getting better and better, man.
Yep. All right, we're down to the final 2.
Thank the heavens.
Stuff that ended. Mieroku-Chan.
I like the ending.
Yes. We picked up where we left. We didn't talk about Zen. We'll talk about that quickly, like really quick.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah, again, we're not gonna talk about the whole previous episodes of this. What happened? Basically, we were wrong about Zen.
Completely.
We judged him harshly. Basically, he sees Miko with a cat. Is like, hey, can you give me that cat? And she's like, no. It's like, I remember you denied me the cat the last time.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Basically, and then Miko starts trying to lose him. But like, okay, because she's getting those vibes from Zen. Like, no, I can't trust this guy. It's getting a lot stronger. Eventually, they run to the point where Zen catches up to them, and the cat jumps off Miko into the middle of the street. And you see Zen jump in front of the car to save the cat, and gets hit with the car. And then we get backstory on Zen. Like it wasn't him; it was his mother that was the abusive one. Yeah, and Zen had a cat, and he was hiding the cat from the mother, and eventually the mother found out and killed the cat. Like Jesus Christ, she was basically like a manipulative yandere. Like you can't love anyone but me.
Yeah, I fucking wish. I hope she had an awful death.
Oh, we don't know how she died. That's the thing.
I hope it was awful. Yeah, I hope she was raped by like 10,000 gorillas.
Anyway, as it was Zen at the hospital. He actually talks. He actually explains everything to Miko. Like I was looking for cats because there was a cat killer around where I was living. So I was trying to find the person. And then you see a vet, and you thought it was the vet during the chat. You thought it was the vet that was the killer.
No, I said it wouldn't shock me if it was the.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't. We'll get to that a bit later.
Yes.
Basically, you find out he was a childhood friend of Zen. He was like, Zen was basically alone because of the mother. Eventually, Miko put two together that ghost was his mother. The one was like, "Don't look at him," type of thing. And then she says, "I wish you were set free." And Zen didn't know what the hell she was talking about. Miko left the room. The mother was following her, and you see the spirits kill the mother, and that was 3. So she sacrificed her last thing to save him. I love that. That was very selfless. Then Miko checked up on Zen. Was like, I thought you left. Like, no, I didn't leave. But then Hana and Yulia come. Like, oh yeah, they went to check up on him, and led into the next day with he's back at school. It's like, oh yeah, the teacher gave birth. So hooray! Yes. Yulia and Miko talk for a bit. Talks about Hana. I was like, so is that why you don't want her to know about all this stuff? And he's like, yeah, don't want her to know anything.
Yep.
And then she has this little realization to herself that she really does need to fight the ghosts head on, especially when she has no guardians anymore. So we see some of the same ghosts from the previous episodes, like the one at the bus stop, the one at the house, the father, and the one at school, like the one that goes good morning everyone. Hana gives her the surprise hug, yet it was more of like it didn't startle her, like she was like it didn't scare her this time. Like, because before during all this, like she was like petrified of almost everything. Yeah, because of all these ghosts, and I don't blame her.
Yep,
it's fucking nuts.
Yep.
And then basically, while she's talking with Hana and Yulia, you see like a little glimpse of the guardians like outside the classroom. You hear the clinging, and then Miko's like I should probably go to the shrine. Like she goes like I should probably go to the shrine to thank them because they're done. And then eventually she drops off an offering at the shrine, thanks it, and you see them like right behind her, and they're not leaving. They're like, should I do more? She puts more food on, and it starts melting like this black goo. It
basically turns around.
Yeah, and you see the spirits yelling at her, but there's no translation.
Yeah,
like it's like their language, and they're getting closer, and they put money in, and that's not enough. It gets closer and closer, and then she gets surrounded by them.
Yeah,
and now Miko starts freaking out, like she can't run away. It's like she got wrapped up in them, and then the big one starts opening his mouth, and then she wakes up, and it's like, oh shit, was this a dream type of thing?
And her brother's like, you having nasty dreams again? No.
I when we saw the brother there, like talking about the show, I thought she went back all the way to the beginning. Like, no.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's true.
I was like, no. Please, no. Like, don't tell me they erased everything.
Yeah.
But no, it did. It was just the brother trying to talk to him. And then she eventually meets up with Yulia and Hana again. Before that, though, Yulia sends Mitsu, that witch doctor, the medium, like a picture in the mail. It was a picture of Hana, Miko, and the giant spirit behind them.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So we don't know what that's about. But what'd you call it? Miko, again, the 3 girls are walking down the street together, going to get a butt bun, it looks like. And then you see you see the guardians like way behind them, like there's like this glare at the girls, and that's where the episode ended.
So there was kind of an after credit in a way.
Which part? Like, so
they have an after credit, and then they have like the thanks to our sponsors, and it ends up like doing some twisted shit.
Yeah,
I
forgot what that was. Do you remember
the after credit?
Yeah.
Fuck. Wait. Was that part of it or no?
I think that was part of it.
Did you mention you mentioned they caught the killer?
I'm sorry, I didn't mention that part. Zen did catch the killer. It was just
a guy who actually filed a missing persons report against, which means I think he killed the guy.
Or sent him away somewhere. Also, he's also moving. He's also taking care of the cat and moving out of the apartment.
Yes, and then basically he mentioned the lady who gives him the stew was like, "Here, I made some more stew."
To be fair, I hate your food. I don't trust it. I don't like when people make stuff for me and give it to me. What if you put hair in it?
Yeah,
that type of thing.
And the lady, no one wants to eat that. He's like, I hit it really well too. So she was.
Why would you intentionally put your hair in?
Well, we don't know what type of hair.
I know, but why would you intentionally do that?
Some sick people out there, bro.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to eat the food then.
Yeah.
But I love this series. I enjoy this a lot.
enjoyed it for what it was. Like the emotional moments really captivated me. The opie certainly captivated me. 3 out of 5.
I ranked it higher than you.
Did you?
I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you don't mind stuff like that. Like that shit gave me the heebie-jeebies, dude. Like,
well, yeah, I love that.
A lot. I don't love that shit at all. That's not to say that it wasn't good. Like I said, it was all right.
All right, now it's time for the main event to close us off, the other season finale, Mushoku Tensei. But before we get to it, we're going to talk about the previous episode.
Yes, because the previous episode is so critical, y'all. So critical.
It is important. We only talked about a certain scene last week, but we're actually going to talk about the whole actual episode.
Yes, super critical. So basically, the show begins with Rudy practicing his magic against himself. Basically, he's trying to replicate the shield
that Orsted.
Yeah, the shield magic that Orsted did against him to absorb his magic. So he's trying to recreate that for himself. And so as they do that, they end up as they're doing their travels, you can tell there's something going on with Eris. Like she's thinking of something in her head. And we find out much later what's going on through her head. But we digress. So they end up arriving in Rudy's hometown, and Rudy shows them around a little bit. And as he shows them around, he sees all of his past memories from when he was last there. I think it was like 3 years or 4 years.
It was like a dream, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 4 years ago. He kept seeing flashbacks of all these things, like him playing with Sylphie, him training with his father, Roxy training him, moments with his mother. He visits the house. The house is just completely destroyed to hell. Nothing's left.
You're forgetting before that there was a dream sequence where everyone was there, like the mother, the father, the family, the girls, basically everyone he has ever encountered.
That was in the
beginning. This is the second to last, which is what we were talking about. Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things that happened. And then he wakes up from that nightmare. Ruger actually checks up on him, like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. He wakes up.
And then he talks about like his reputation and everything.
Yeah. So basically, he asked him like, "What did the man god tell you about myself and about the Superb?" And he explains everything that was going on with the man god and everything that's been told of him. And so Ruger's like, you could tell there's a look of like shock but happiness on his face when Rudy tells him like, "Hey, your curse is like about to be lifted, bro. Like as long as you keep doing what you're doing, because
like even when you shaved your head and all that, and he actually turned his head away, like almost tearing up.
He's like, "I'm gonna go to bed," and he goes to bed, and you just see Ruger turn his head, and he just starts crying, and Rudy knows he's crying, but he lets him like have his moment.
He's like happy,
yeah. He's like he's happy. So anyway, so at the end of them at Rudy's house, at Rudy's house, they go to the big tree where the scenes of the first core, a lot of the scenes of the first core took place. And in front of this tree, Eris is like, "Wow, this is your hometown." He's like, "Yeah," and it used to look a lot better, but clearly not. And basically, Ruijerd says, at this point, this is where he's like, "You guys don't need babysitters anymore. This is where we depart." And Rudy and Eris are shocked. Eris is almost in tears. And
like she's in denial at first.
She's in denial. Yeah, she is in denial. And basically, Ruijerd's like, "You guys don't need babysitters anymore. Eris, you're going to be a strong warrior. You stood toe to toe with the dragon god. Like, do you know how like important that is? Like, do you know how serious that is?
No one does that."
Yeah, like you're gonna be much stronger than I ever will. And he goes to Rudy, like, "Rudy, I have so much to thank you for." And Rudy's like, "No, you did all of that yourself." And he's like, No, like I wouldn't have been able to do anything without you. And let's meet again, hopefully. And he goes to give Rudy back Roxy's necklace, and he tells Ruijerd to keep it. And Ruijerd's like, "But isn't this precious to you?" And Rudy's like, "And that's why I want you to keep it." And so he smiles, and he's like,
smile, yeah.
Yeah, he smiles, and he's like, "Let us meet again." And he goes on his way, and Eris is just bawling, and Rudy's trying to like just hold it in. He's just trying to hold it in. He does a good job. He doesn't cry, but he holds it in. And so Eris and him go on their journey, and they end up back in Eris's.
There's a campsite, yeah.
Yeah, there's a campsite right outside of Eris's hometown in Fitora. And the first thing they do is they see Ghislaine. We are reunited with Ghislaine, everyone. And Ghislaine and Eris have a wonderful, reunion. I'm so happy to see you. She's like, I'm happy to see you too, Rudy. And then they end up going to Alphonse, and Alphonse is like, oh, I knew you'd come back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then Alphonse is like, well, now that you're back, we need to have a serious conversation. And so he closes the doors, or like the robes to the tent, and tells, like, Rudy, if you don't mind staying outside while we have this conversation. And Eris is like, no, Rudy stays with me. And Alphonse is like, you sure? Like, no, Rudy stays with me. And so they both sit down, they close the doors to the tent, and Eris holds Rudy's hand as Eris is informed that her brother and her mother were killed in the
mother, father, and grandfather.
Mother, father, and brother. I think, was it not, or is it mother, father? I know. I may get to the grandfather. Let me get to the grandfather.
It's mother, father, and the grandfather got decapitated.
Yeah. So basically, exactly what Matt said. Basically, he finds out his mother and father were killed in the magic accident, and her grandfather was basically was given blame for the incident, and he was beheaded and executed. And so Eris is in shock. Rudy is pissed off about, how could you blame him? That wasn't right. And Alphonse is like, I know, but there's nothing we could do. And Eris is just like, leave me alone. And Rudy's like, are you sure? Eris has looked like, yo, did you not fucking hear me? Leave me the fuck alone, bro.
I was like, before that though, he's also about like, oh, like she's to be offered as some.
Oh yes, and she's also informed that she's to be offered to another gray rat as their concubine. So basically, in order for them to stay the royal family, she needs to marry into like this guy's family. And apparently the guy is like some super scumbag or some shit. And Alphonse is like, yeah, I know he's a scumbag, but we got to do what we got to do. And Rudy's like, so you would offer Eris up to some scumbag? And he's like, well, for the sake of the kingdom, I would. Which was pretty raw. Like, nobody has the balls to really say that. So that was kind of raw that he said that. But in any case, Eris requests to be left alone by everybody so she can grieve. And then that night, before that, I'm sorry. Basically, Ghislaine goes over to the missing persons board and scratches off Rudy and Eris. And
Rudy's looking around and he sees a Sylphie.
Yeah, Rudy's like, what's this? They're like, oh, now you guys are here, we can scratch you off the board. And she starts looking around for Sylphie, and doesn't find Sylphie on the missing person.
Well, her name was crossed off, and then he went to the dead person list.
Yeah, I was looking at the dead person's list. So he was looking, and we're looking at the dead person's list, and so they're like, oh, is she on this list? No. And so he goes to the missing person's list, sees her name crossed off, and she's like, oh my god, do you know where she is? And Ghislaine's like, no, I don't, but if she's not on the dead person's list and she's crossed off on the missing person's list, she's alive, just not here. So the good news is Sylphie is alive, and we get an idea of where she's at the end of the next episode, which we'll talk about pretty soon.
Yeah.
And so after that's done, Rudy goes back to his tent and he's just contemplating everything that's gone on. And then that night, Eris goes into his tent and she's wearing some cute little lingerie. And, Eris is like, a couple days ago, I turned 15, which in their world, 15 means that they're a legal adult. And
Rudy's like, oh shit, I didn't get you a gift and all that.
Yeah,
so I didn't care about it.
Yeah,
want to do the promise.
Yeah, she's like, Rudy, let's do it. And he's like,
Rudy isn't 15.
Yeah, Rudy's not 15. Rudy's 13, I think.
He's 13.
Yeah, Rudy's 13. And Rudy's like, wait, aren't we supposed to do this till aren't we supposed to wait till we're 15? And she's like,
but she didn't say who.
Yeah, she's like, it doesn't matter. I don't have any family. Rudy, I want you to be my family. And he's like, in a brother-sister way? He's like, no. She's like, no. And she climbs on top of him. And Rudy is conflicted, which is, a wonderful sign because, the old Rudy, the hornbag Rudy would have been like, yeah, I can't wait to fucking devour this girl. Right. But he's conflicted because he's like, listen, Eris is in a vulnerable state because she just found out all of her family is dead. She has no family. She only has herself and Ghislaine. Rougeard's not around anymore. So she doesn't want to take advantage of her vulnerable state. But then what's it called? Like I said, Eris gets on top of her. Rudy gets turned on because the girl's on top of him. And she's like, are you turned on? He goes, yeah. And she's like, okay, so then why can't we do it? And he's just like, he's giving excuses why they can't do it. And Eris basically goes, listen, I learned something. I learned this from my mother, but it's embarrassing. So I'm only going to say it once. And she whispers in his ear, I want to have your kittens meow. And that triggers Rudy. Rudy's like, all right, well, if this is what it is. And they actually, it's kind of weird because the scene where you don't see them having sex literally, but basically you see flashes of it where Rudy undoes her top and you see Eris laying down, and you see the moment, like you kind of get the moment when he like first goes in, and like you see Eris's hand flinch, and Rudy grabs her hand, and they hold hands. And like throughout this episode you see so before this, actually, let's backtrack. A part of the opening scene that Matt referenced with the family in the dream, in the nightmare rather, there becomes a scene where something spills, and then as that something spills, I think it's wine spills, and then as wine spills it becomes blood, and then blood comes everywhere. And so it's kind of foreboding, because in this instance, when they start doing what they're doing, Rudy had a cup of wine near him, and the cup of wine falls over and spills in the same pattern as his dream. And as they're doing the flashes of all the moments of of him and Eris having sex, you see like the cup just jump, you're ding, and it like goes in the air, and you see the puddle grow, ding.
Yeah.
And it's very, very reflective of perhaps what's to come. And so that moment comes, they have sex, everything's good. Rudy wakes up the next morning.
Hold on, I gotta do it. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, Rudy wakes up.
Ohio. Hey, what are you doing there? I had sex. I'm one of you people. Hey, why are you gloom? Get laid. Be happy like I am right now.
Yes, Rudy wakes up feeling like a cajillion dollars. And he turns around and sees Eris is in the bed. And she's like, oh, it's weird. And he looks down at his feet, and he sees Eris's long hair cut at his feet. And so he looks at the stand, and he sees a note, and the note reads, we're not compatible right now. I'm going on a journey. And
he's like confused, like what the hell happened?
He's like,
we had a great night.
Yes, Rudy's like, what the fuck is happening? We had a good night. We were supposed to be family. What is going on? So he runs over to Alphonse, and he's Alphonse, and Alphonse already knows. Alphonse says, if this is in relation to Lady Eris has gone on a trip with Lady Ghislaine, and they've advised me to not tell you where they're going. Yeah. And he basically tells Alphonse, and he's like, I can't. Nope. And so then Rudy is shell-shocked. Rudy walks away from the tent holding on to the note, and the credits play. And as he's walking, he's just thinking about everything. Everything's just going through his head about everything that happened, all he's been through, this journey, everything that he's felt for Eris. And he stops, and he just breaks down and bawls, crying.
This is the first time he's cried since being reincarnated.
Yes.
And like he's alone now.
He's super alone. Now he's the one that's completely and utterly alone, with no family, no friends, no comrades. It's just Rudy and his feelings and his broken heart now, because the person that he now has fallen in love with ditched him after having sex, and he lost his virginity. Yep. And that's how the episode ends, with just wails of crying, just uncontrollable weeping. And that's how the episode ends.
That was so good. This
whole episode. That whole episode was amazing. Powerful. Yeah, it really was. It really was. And that leads us into the next episode.
The final episode of season 1. Basically, it picked up where we left off. Rudy's crying in his room. Yeah. And then what you call it? We see Eris with Ghislaine. And you find out, Eris does still love Rudy, but she thinks he's not strong enough to be there for him. That's why she's with Ghislaine.
No, not only that, she basically mentions that she didn't fear anything because she had Rudy. She wasn't scared of anything because she had Rudy. She wasn't worried about anything because she had Rudy. Yeah, and then Rudy almost died, and it made her realize how weak she was and how she depended on Rudy too much. And so she left Rudy so she can become strong herself. And said, and then at the top of her lungs screams, I love Rudy, and I'm gonna see him again when I'm strong enough to defeat the dragon god. And so that's the story of Eris. But throughout this process, we see Rudy, and he again depressed. Like, and not only is he depressed, but he basically reverts back to the way he was as a human. He starts thinking about the events,
being a shut-in.
Yeah, the events that led him to become a shut-in. Basically, he defended a girl, or he defended himself, and he defended a girl, got beat up, and he was fine. He was just like, oh, whatever. And then they basically beat him up more, stripped him naked, and then that's where everything happened. And he became a shut-in. And he basically equates that to no matter how many chances you have at life, and no matter how much you want to change, There are some parts of you that will always remain the same because
that's all holding you back.
Yeah, and that's just the type of person you are. And we throughout the episode we see that. And again, this episode is two things. One is Rudy's internal struggle with his old self, and two, it's an update basically on everybody else in the series. We see the Beast people, what happens with them. We see what happens with a couple of the adventurers that he met up with. We saw Eris. And then we see Rougeard. Rougeard killed some beasts for a local village. The village thanks him, and he mentioned,
yeah, and they talk to him.
Who are you? They're like, you're a demon?
They know who he is.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Rougeard of Dead End.
I'm a Superd.
And they're like, what the fuck? You're a Superd? But they're not scared. They're just
they're like shocked and amazed.
Yeah, that they're actually meeting a Superd. He's like, oh, we thought you were just the stuff of legend, like when we were children. And he's like, you're not scared of me? And he's like, back in the day, if you were like when I was a child, I probably would be. But now I just think it's really fucking cool that we're actually meeting one, and you're cool. And so it makes Rougeard smile because he realizes, thanks to Rudy and what he was told by the man god, everything really is truly, he helped him, and he's helping his people. And it was a really heartfelt story. The other major part of this beyond
Aisha.
Well, that's not really a major part. I was gonna say.
Well, I'm saying like it's still they got reunited with Paul, Aisha, and
Aisha, Lilia got reunited with Paul and them. But the major part comes from the Demon Continent. Basically, Roxy, shit-faced Roxy is hilarious.
Yes.
So basically, the I forget what's the name of the fat guy. Do you know?
The elf.
The fat elf.
I don't think they said his name.
I think they have him. We just forgot it. But anyway, the fat dwarf is basically having a drinking contest with the demon god who gave Rudy his eye.
Yeah, Kishirika.
Okay, whatever the fuck her name is. Yeah. So basically, she's having a drinking contest. She wins. The guy fucking passes out and throws up on himself, which is great.
Yeah, he's like, drinks are on me.
Yeah, and then we see fucking drunk Roxy. He's like, hee, and she passes out face first on the fucking.
While Alien is having sex.
I didn't see that part.
She was in the background with someone, flirting with someone. So
most likely sucking dick. Yeah, getting some nut. Anyway, so come to think of that, Matthew, does she have to swallow or partake in sperm, or does she just need to be penetrated for that curse to not kill her?
I think penetration.
All right, good to know. We'll get into that another time. But I just asked that question.
Yeah, when they actually go into more detail with that.
Yes. But in any case, Roxy wakes up hungover the next morning and sees that Karishka can't pay the bill because she's broke. And so she gets tied up. They're going to kill her, but she pays the bill for her. And she's like, thank you very much. I'm the demon god. And for that, I'll give you one reward. And Roxy's like, yeah, whatever. She's like, I can give you a demon eye. And she's like, oh, like, can you tell me where Rudy's family is?
And she tells him where everyone is.
She says fucking Aisha and Lilia got reunited with Paul. Rudy back home. He looks depressed. Fucking guy must ate something bad. And then they're like, what about
the mother?
Zenith.
Yes.
Zenith. Yeah, so what about Zenith? And we find out Zenith is being held underwater in some underwater temple on a different continent, but we don't know where in the temple she is.
But she is alive.
But she's alive, but she's most likely being a prisoner. I don't think she makes it, dude. You probably know, but my internal thought is she doesn't fucking make it. I think she dies.
Anyway, we see more of Zenith in a flashback with Rudy's flashback.
Yeah, Rudy's still depressed, and he is he's thinking as he's just in despair. And again, what's his face? Alphonse tries to get him like, oh, I've let you lay depressed long enough. Like, you need to help us if you're gonna stick around. He's like, are you telling me to get kicked out?
Yeah, they basically help out or get out.
Yeah, basically. And so, but Rudy ends up having a flashback with his mother, and he starts thinking about the love of his family. One of the things that he's mentioned throughout at different parts of the season is that one of the reasons why he fell into such despair in his human life was because he never had anybody really tell him that they loved him or show him. Like,
that's the thing. But we find out the mother was trying in his past life.
This episode, like, they really cared. They hated for him to see him as a shut-in. They wanted him to take his time, but he just never snapped out of it because that was just the personality that he had. And eventually they gave up. And because he didn't see that as in his previous life, that's the reason why he became that way.
And now he's seeing it.
But now that he understands what family and love is, he's been with a woman. He's not a virgin anymore. By the way, so he was 35 when he died, and he's what, 13 or 14 when he loses his virginity. So he's a 49-year-old virgin.
Yeah, he's Yeah, he's I believe he is 13 here.
He's a 48-year-old virgin. We digress. Anyway, regardless, he basically he understands what love is. He understands what family is. He starts thinking about probably it must have been like a few months before he gets shipped out to the other city, and he just looks at Zenith, and Zenith is like, Rudy, I love you so much. And like she understands like the love of everyone around him. And it opens Rudy's eyes, and he's like, I have to find Zenith. And he gets his shit and he steps out of the tent, and at the same time they put up right next to the tent his old room. He steps out of the room, and basically it's a symbolic way of saying that he's stepping out of his shell. He's moving past the old personalities slowly but surely, if not completely. He's moving past those personalities to become a greater person, which is something that we had mentioned and something that's been highlighted in this series, that throughout this process, the second chance at life has enabled him to really grow and mature, despite being so young, be mature and grow and become a better human being for himself as well as those around him. And this progression from his depression until he realizes that he's got to do it for the love of his mother and the love of his family is a great character development and great a great display of moving forward, moving past your trauma, moving forward in your life, just showing the growth that you've experienced through your tribulations and moving on with your life, which is really very similar to Aquatope from that standpoint, the way I just described it, but it's completely different in terms of the scenario that enabled the people to grow. But it's very fabulous, and that's how that episode, quote unquote, ends. But there's an after credit.
Yep. You see people that want to recruit Rudy into a school, like, are they impressed with his abilities? And we see an elf girl. We know who it is though, but they don't say her name. Yeah, she like vouches for Rudy, says how she respects Rudy, knew him since she was younger. Yeah, and yes, it's Sophie with white hair.
And one thing I forgot to mention earlier about Roxy, she basically recruits the group. They're gonna go try and find Zenith. So I imagine in season 2 we're gonna see Roxy and her crew along with Rudy versus whoever is holding Zenith captive, and that'll be part of that season. And then I imagine after that, at some point, is probably when we'll see the school, because the manga cover spoiled me. We see Rudy and Sophie together, and they're wearing the school outfit that you see in the after credit.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, it happens. But
it's just when.
It's just when, yeah. And we basically, I'm very curious because obviously Rudy you say Rudy fucks everything, but like, how does that work? Where he loved Eris, he fell in love with Eris, like he loved Sophie originally.
Well, to be fair, he loves Roxy first.
I don't think he loves Roxy. I think he lusts for Roxy. He wants to fuck Roxy, but I think he really loves Eris and he loves Sophie. So I'm very curious to see how that dynamic develops, because as I mentioned in that manga cover, he's holding hands with Sophie in the school and he's happy, but I don't know if they've gotten that far or what the story with that is, but what happens with Eris. But at the same time, Eris is technically his cousin. He technically fucked his cousin, y'all. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that dynamic will develop, because of the fact that, again, they're cousins, but they do truly both love each other. But Rudy also loves Sophie, and Eris doesn't know that because he never told Eris about Sophie or about anything like that.
Right.
So, and as far as Roxy knows, basically Eris just thinks like, oh, he just admires his teacher, not that Rudy wants to fucking stick his chimpo in her.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff in terms of that specific.
Yeah, the whole season as a whole, like in January and now the whole thing. It's fantastic.
I gave part 1 4 stars. I gave this 5. This is easily a 5-star.
Yeah, this was so good.
Easily a 5-star. So everything just incredible. Emotions, fights, story development, character development,
and just the
world building. Yes, everything. Goddamn flawless. It's goddamn flawless. 5 stars.
Love it. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be on my top for the year for sure.
It's gonna be tough, dude. Like, and there's so many good ones. Takt, Assassin, Assassin, and Jobless are my top 3. I don't know in which order I'm gonna put them in, but Takt, Jobless, and Takt, Jobless, and Assassin are definitely in my top 3. Taisho is probably 5.
Yeah. I will figure it out. We're gonna do that next week after the remaining reviews.
Majority of them. So basically, I had 86 in there, but 86 isn't going to end for another 3 weeks. 86.
But we can top off. Yeah,
Paladin's not going to end for 2 weeks. 86 isn't going to end for 3 weeks. And
yeah,
then,
but we can still. I think you see enough to grade it fairly for
Banished
winter.
Hero, yeah. Well, no, I've already graded them all. Yeah, Banished Hero has 2 more weeks. Comey has 2 more weeks. Platinum Men, we're not gonna really put. I'm not gonna put Platinum in it because we don't have a half a season to go. That's gonna go into winter season. And Paladin's got 2 weeks. 86 got 2 weeks. But basically, the episodes that we're gonna end with next week. And of course, Demon Slayer, Boruto, they're gonna keep on going. So Takt ends tomorrow. Banished Hero for me and Assassin for us ends on Wednesday.
Yep.
Scarlet Nexus for me ends Thursday. Taisho ends for both of us on Friday. Paladin has 2 weeks. 86 for me has 3 weeks.
Visual Prison will end, and oh shit, I forgot Tri-Corner Window, but I'll talk about it next week. It could wait a week. And,
you forgot to mention Tri-Corner?
Yeah, because it's over. It could wait a week.
Senpai ends for us tomorrow. Boruto continues. Demon Slayer continues, and JoJo technically dropped, even though it's gonna be continued, but not now. I have to catch up on it.
Comey and Blue Period end in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, and unrelated to anything, I did catch up more on JoJo, so I have 7 more episodes of JoJo to go, guys. Or 6. I have 6 more episodes.
We'll be reviewing part 6 with the winter lineup that's where it is anyway. So
yes. And that's about it. Final takeaways, Matthew?
Good stuff all around. So it is the holiday season, so we will do a holiday recommendation when we come back, when we close out of here.
Yes, and I'll also, real quick, because I forgot to review the SAO Progressive movie, I'll do that as well before we get into our plugs and our recommendations. So
alrighty, we're gonna do a recommendation, but first he's gonna talk about the Sword Art Online movie, which is basically a retelling of the first season, but with Asuna.
Yes, there's not a lot to really. If you've seen Sword Art Online, you've seen this movie. I gave the movie 4 out of 5 stars. It's very nostalgic. It brings back all the greatness of the original Sword Art Online, from the uncertainty and the reality of death to the action. It's all superb. Again, as Matt said, we see everything from Asuna's perspective, and we get a new character. I'm forgetting her name already. What the fuck is this bitch's name?
Well, I didn't see it, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, I got new character. Mito is a new character. From what I found out from my nephew, because I put my nephew on the Sword Art Online, he does read more into it. He's read all the progressive manga and everything. Mito wasn't a part of the original story whatsoever, or she isn't even part of the progressive manga, which is pretty crazy. So she's an original movie character.
Right.
She's a critical part in that movie, basically, in terms of character development for Asuna. We see Asuna basically become who she is because of Mito. She was basically she got into Sword Art Online because she followed Mito in. She survived initially Sword Art Online because Mito helped her. She got ditched by Mito because of a crazy scenario in the movie where she almost died, and Mito, rather than seeing her friend died, left her alone, which is even worse in my opinion, left her completely alone in a world that she's unfamiliar with. And that's what turned Asuna into being a solo player. And then toward the end of the movie, we see them reunite. But at the end of the day, Asuna basically takes Kirito's side, because Kirito is the one that really saved her, both from a literal standpoint and from an emotional standpoint of that pain of being left alone to die and not having anyone that she could trust in the group. She found trust in Kirito. Again, but in terms of everything with the story, solid story. It's a rehash, as we mentioned multiple times, of the original Sword Art Online, just from Asuna's perspective, but it's still equally good. We see what it's like to see from her eyes what's going on. We also see, as we've seen, Matt, because you've seen Sword Art Online, you've seen the dynamic. I believe it's in Alicization, where she has that disconnect with her family.
Right.
In the movie, you definitely see the beginning shades of that disconnect in her mother and her family.
Right.
Her brother, she basically uses her brother's system, and I believe it's mentioned in the past that the system belonged to her brother, but she uses her brother's nerve gear to get onto the game to follow Mito, and that's how this whole story begins. So it's pretty wicked, considering all things considered. So, but it's good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's not mind blowing because I've already seen the stuff, and it just in general, like, it's not like overwhelmingly amazing, but still really good. So that's my review.
We do a recommendation because it is the holiday season after all. So I'm going to recommend a Christmas movie, Tokyo Godfathers. It's a classic. Involves Hana, Jin, and Miku, where they find a baby and they're trying to bring it back to its family for some hijinks, drama, heartfelt, and it fits in the holiday theme because again, this all happens on Christmas Eve while finding their own Christmas miracle. Definitely check it out; it's worth watching. So if you can find it, definitely give it a look. See. Closing thoughts before we wrap up.
I was trying to go through my list to see if I even have any sort of fucking Christmas anything. I got nothing.
Or no, there's not a lot. So
yeah, okay.
But this is definitely one. Anyway, we talked our cake, we ate our cake, we are now full of cake. You can follow me on Twitter at DamienPhoenix12. You can also follow our Twitter at at Talk to Keki, where we give you updates on episodes whenever they come out in time. We want to thank Sean, our editor at W2M Network. We want to thank them for hosting us. We also have a link tree which is linked in our Twitter. You can find it there where you can listen to your favorite local podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Audible, iHeartRadio, and a bunch of all music platforms. We want to thank the Chair Shot Radio for sponsoring us once a week, put us on their program in the entertainment section. Find our Facebook group at Eat the Cake. If you send a request, if you do listen to the show, type in this where you found us for this podcast. We'll give you a shout out and a bunch of stuff. Fun for the whole family. Next week we are going to close up the winter season for the good majority part, and we will give out our winter awards. And as in 2 weeks, we are in the new year. We will be doing our year-end awards.
We have plugs. We have a lot coming up for you guys, and that's not including the winter season coming up as well. So
yeah, winter season, Keki Shop.
Yes, hopefully, finally we get Keki Shop. We're supposed to debut this season.
Once we do the year-end awards, we're gonna plan that.
Yeah, so fucking looking forward. Winter hopefully will be a little bit shorter for us. We'll have a couple less episodes. A lot of what we're watching we'll be watching together, which will be great and helpful for you guys as well. No individualness, we can just go on together. So that'll help. Yeah, in terms of my plugs, you can catch me at my my podcasting Instagram at podcast.senpai. You can catch me on my anime Instagram at AI_anime24, where you can catch daily updates from me in terms of the shows that I'm watching that I review here. A lot of what I say is on there as well. You can catch me at Twitter at SHOSTOPPA24. That's Showstopper24. You can catch me at anime.co, analyst.co rather, analyst.co at SHOSTOPPA249. That's Showstopper249. You can follow us on our Eat the Cake Instagram at EATTHEKEKI, Eat the Keki Instagram. Again, as Matt said, all of our links, well, let me phrase that, all of mine and ours have a link tree. If you click on my link tree in my bios, you'll be able to catch all my other podcasts and my other endeavors. Shout out to my boy Andy with MMA for Marks. Shout out to my boy B Ronan for the Orlando Tragics podcast. Look out for new content on both of those arriving soon. And I think that's it, buddy.
Alrighty, everyone, from us at Top to Keki, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, arigato, anato faku, and sayonara.
Sayonara, minasan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, very good.